Vicario in goal, Pedro Porro, Romero, Van de Ven and Udogie, then Bentancur with Kulusevski and Maddison, Brennan Johnson and Werner in the wide position. So Timo Werner starting in the Premier League for the first time this season, and 2-goal Dominic Solanke up front. Manchester United get the match underway. They kick off, they're attacking towards the east stand to our right. Long ball forward towards Zirkzee, who can only head it on into the hands of goalkeeper Vicario. So Manchester United against Tottenham. We do have a choice of listening for you on BBC Radio. The Premier League is here on 5 Live. The deciding one-day international live from Bristol is on Sports Extra right now. The ball-by-ball commentary. Australia chasing 310 to win. What's the latest, Nikesh Rugani?
Well, it has just started raining. The rain that was predicted is falling down really heavily, with Australia 165 for 2 in the 21st over. If it was to finish now, Australia would win the series. They're well ahead of what they need to be on Duckworth Lewis. 165 for 2 in the 21st, and they've just gone off for rain.
OK, right, so Nikesh will keep us updated on the weather forecast in Bristol as the hours unfold. It is 0-0 and Tottenham are in possession, and Steve's been talking about big coats. Well, Big Ange has got a big coat today, and he's got his hands buried in the pockets of it. Ange Postecoglou on the edge of the coaching area. 2-2 draw last season in his first visit here as the Tottenham manager. Tottenham attacking down the right hand side, headed away by Mazraoui, headed further away on the edge of the area, and Zirkzee goes into the challenge centrally with Van de Ven. Udogie, now here there is Timo Werner on the left hand side. Werner flicks it forward, bounces off Mazraoui, bounce back for Tottenham on the edge of the box, but it's worked away on the edge of the penalty area. And then Bruno Fernandes on the turn, but he's given it away. Solanke nipped it back from him, and Spurs go back towards the halfway line with Pedro Porro. So Spurs will start again there. In fact, the ball through the middle. Look, Kulusevski looking for the turn. He very nearly got away there, Leon from Ugarte, but it just ran away from him. And it's played away by Dalot. That was last minute stuff, and indeed it's been lost now by Martinez. Tottenham drive it on, ball comes across, and it's stopped there with the right foot of Dalot, and Manchester United are able to get it away, living dangerously early. But a ball now forward for Garnacho. Udogie is able to come in on the tackle. Rashford's heavy touch. That means Van de Ven has now got space. Van de Ven racing forward with the ball. He's still got the Tottenham central defender. He's into the penalty area. He pulls it across, and Tottenham score. What a run from Van de Ven. And tucked away from point blank range by Brennan Johnson. And Spurs lead in the 3rd minute here. But that was all about the run of Mickey Van de Ven. That was something else. Manchester United 0, Tottenham 1.
Oh, absolutely outstanding from Van de Ven. Spurs have started this game really well. They took the ball at the back. They'd allowed United to come onto them. They played through the phases of the pitch. And then once they got into the final third, they've just not let United out. I know it's only 2.5 minutes on the clock, but United have tried to play forward. Spurs stepped in and won the second ball. They tried to play forward again. Van de Ven then steps in ahead of Rashford, probably 10 or 15 yards inside his own half, picks the ball up and just drives through the space. United are a little bit disjointed even at this stage, trying to get a counter-attack. Rashford, Garnacho, Fernandes, Zirkzee all out of the game after Van de Ven picks the ball up. He just drives through the space in between Mazraoui and De Ligt, drives through the space there to the right of Ugarte, and then picks out his partner, his teammate at the far post. Brilliant bit of play from Van de Ven, crossing it right from the byline. And Spurs, what a wonderful start to this game.
And Brennan Johnson couldn't miss in the 6-yard box, couple of yards out. Brennan Johnson now has scored in 4 matches in a row. And all that after feeling the heat, really, from some Tottenham supporters, switching off his social media accounts. And now, suddenly, life without social media is much, much better for Brennan Johnson. Tottenham scoring in the 3rd minute, and Manchester United rather shocked by that, as this latest Manchester United attack breaks down on the edge of the penalty area. Kulusevski carries it forward. gives it to the goal scorer Johnson on the right hand side, hugging the right wing here, and then going on, and eventually Bruno Fernandes slides in with the challenge, and it's just kept in play next to the corner flag. Bruno Fernandes playing it away off Johnson for a throw into Manchester United, level with the edge of their own penalty area. Well, an early goal often helps a match. Doesn't help Erik ten Hag's mood down there on the touchline, though. I mean, he must have been shaking his head in desperation at the way that Van de Ven just marched through them.
Yeah, but you know, you're playing at home at Old Trafford. You're Manchester United. You want to get off to a quick start. Spurs take the ball at the back. You don't pressurise them. You just drop off and allow them to get a couple of passes across the penalty area, a couple of passes into midfield. You sort of go to try and put a press in and don't be successful.
Oh, short pass by Mazraoui. Tottenham are in again. Solanke on the edge of the penalty area, but Martinez came in with a challenge and dispossessed him, and Onana's able to pick up the ball. But again, you can hear the groans, dissatisfaction from the Manchester United supporters. That was an error by Mazraoui. You know, where the goal came from, it was a strange, scrappy period of play centre field in which a number of players overran the ball, heavy touches, and finally it just ran to Van de Ven, who just ran downfield with it.
Yeah, Spurs, as I said, started well, a bit of confidence a minute into the game, minute and a half, and you've had no real pressure applied onto you here at Old Trafford, where the crowd are desperate to get behind the team. You've got to come out and start quick. United still haven't started this game.
Got to Swansea in a moment, but Werner just plays the ball through into the penalty area, and Solanke can't reach that because Martinez is able to see it behind for a goal kick. So 6 minutes on the clock here at Old Trafford. Manchester United 0, Tottenham 1 the scoreline. And I think with you in the Championship, Molly Stevens, at Swansea, you must be into the last 20 minutes now.
Absolutely spot on, John, and it has been frantic. Swansea 1, Bristol City 1, Jason Knight with the equaliser, which is almost a carbon copy of Benga Bango's Swansea goal in the first half. A clean header from close range. This has been lively. Swansea 1, Bristol City 1.
So Swansea 1, Bristol City 1 earlier in our first Premier League commentary of the afternoon. A really exciting one, actually. Ipswich 2, Aston Villa 2, so we'll hear from some of the protagonists, no doubt, at half-time in this match. Rangers won 1-0 against Hibernian with Tom Lawrence's goal, and the latest on Leicester Bath in the Premiership comes from Chris Jones.
Try for Bath, big moment. Leicester losing a line out, Bath going to work close to the line. Guy Pepper scoring, Russell converting. 10 minutes to go, Leicester 10, Bath 17.
So it's raining in Bristol. The commentary, or the coverage, continues on Sports Extra. Last day of the County Championship today as well. Commentary continues on those matches. I have to say, it does feel like the tail end of the cricket season. In fact, in all honesty, it feels like the cricket season should probably have finished weeks ago. But it's headed forward for Tottenham by Udogie. Manchester United, Mazraoui takes it down, and then Ugarte is tugged over by Kulusevski. But for Tottenham, just the start that they wanted, that early goal. Now the pressure really builds on Manchester United, Leon Osman.
Yeah, but they've started sharper. Spurs in and out of possession. Manchester United look a bit shell-shocked. They're slow in possession of the ball. They're giving pass away. There's another one.
Heavy one from Xerxes, putting it out of play.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they've put 3 passes together so far, Manchester United. Spurs' pressure has been good. Spurs in possession have been good. They'll be delighted with the start. That's the type of start that I spoke about in the dressing room. Let's be quality in possession. Let's win every duel. And they have done. United still haven't won a single duel.
So 1-0 Tottenham lead. Brennan Johnson scoring the goal. I was listening to Andy Reid, who was with me last night actually at Molineux, but he was with Steve in the early part of the programme on 5 Live. Andy Reid talking about Brennan Johnson, knows him very well from Nottingham Forest, talking about the character that he is. And having heard that, I suppose anyone who knows him, I'm sure, will be chuffed to bits for him after some of the criticism that he's received to be able to respond like this. Long ball from Onana, Rashford into the penalty area, Rashford shoots and it's saved by Vicario. At his near post, although the flag is now up. So Rashford would have been offside. From the angle, went for goal. Vicario didn't know that. He had to keep it out, and he did. No, but it would have been a close one. I think if it had gone in, it would have been checked by VAR. I don't think it was as simple. No, I wasn't
too just being offside.
Sure, I must say.
Maybe just on the lean there. Maybe well done to the assistant. But yeah, just a long ball back to front. from De Ligt right over the top of Spurs. They're trying to play that high line, got in behind far too quickly. There was a cute little nudge by Romero just as Rashford went to get his shot away. It stopped it being a comfortable effort on goal, but very simple back to front pass there, nearly scored, got United in.
Yeah, Lee Betts, the assistant, and I think he was right. You leaned just like Marcus Rashford leaned, so it was almost as if you were Rashford and I was Christian Romero. Here is Werner now on the left-hand side, receiving the ball in and then pulling it back centrally to Maddison. Maddison looking for a 1-2 with Kulusevski. Maddison's in, but Onana comes out and makes a very good sprawling save. Hasn't cleared the penalty area yet though for Manchester United. Eventually it does, and Dalot is able to clear it away. Excellent stuff from Tottenham, from Maddison, from Kulusevski, but also from Onana.
Yeah, well, we spoke before the game about bringing in Timo Werner instead of Bassoum and leaving James Maddison and Kulusevski in those two number 10 positions in the centre of the pitch, saying we're going to take the ball, we're going to play, we're going to trust our technicians to be quality on the ball. Well, they've started brilliantly. That was Maddison, Kulusevski, 1-2s, back heels, edge of the penalty area. Maddison just couldn't quite bring that touch in well enough to get a comfortable finish, but he did get an opportunity. Tried to dink it over the outrushing Onana with his left foot, but it was really good goalkeeping. Saw the opportunity to come and rush the finish and block the shot.
Chances of this match finishing 0-1, Leon. Here's Udogie down the left, cross towards the back post. That's headed away by Dalot and then headed further away by Menu on the edge of the penalty area. Fernandes goes in for the challenge, groans because Tottenham win out. Maddison, Kulusevski again, Udogie now with a chance, but up and over the top of the crossbar, above Onana's head, and the goalkeeper there is trying to rally his troops, clapping his hands together, those gloved hands, clenched fist. It's got to be better than this for Manchester United.
Yeah, again, the fans are right to moan. Another duel, Bruno Fernandes just dangling a foot, Pedro Porro going in to actually win the ball. Bruno Fernandes was favourite to win the tackle, but came away having lost it. Spurs picked the ball up on the front foot. Udogie, it is 12 yards out, gets the shot in. At the moment it's all Tottenham Hotspurs. United can't get near them.
No, they can't. No, there's a poor touch from Udogie though, and a little bit of almost an ironic cheer from the Manchester United supporters for a Spurs error. And did you say to me, I think, was it you or was it someone else who said Tottenham will have more of the ball today, more of the possession, and that's exactly what's happening? It was you, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was me. I felt well, Spurs have had, I think, the second most possession in the Premier League this season, and maybe the second most in the opposition's half. They're a team that like to take the ball, and with the players they've got, there's no surprise about that.
Here's Werner now on the left-hand side, a long pass for him to use his pace to run onto it, and he gets there. Mazraoui, it's always already looking like, you know, Werner might really test Mazraoui today in the absence of Son. And of course that's without Son, you know, so important to Tottenham to get an early goal in a match like this without the captain for the first time in the starting lineup in the Premier League this season. Again, so important. Werner goes for a first-hand pass. Maddison's not reaching that. He's not Timo Werner, you know.
Yeah, they could have done with that being the other way around.
Playing it through to Werner. Yeah, but it's through for a goal kick.
Had that been the other way around, that was a chance to get in behind De Ligt. I don't think he was quite ready for that ball over his shoulder, but unfortunately neither was James Maddison. He wasn't expecting the ball for him to run onto. He wanted the ball to feet, as you'd expect.
I have to say, Leon, I'm still in so much admiration for that run of Van de Ven that led to the opening goal, as there's a foul on Ugarte, free kick to Manchester United, half inside their own half. Well, you do not see that very often.
Well, we've seen him do it. Well, I've seen him do it twice this season. I've saw him do it at home against Everton. He put the ball up in the D inside his own penalty area and set the goal up in the opposition. But
to go as far as he almost went to the byline.
But that's what should worry you about Manchester United there. You know he's a player that will keep on going if you give him the space. Somebody had to come over and close him down. Nobody did.
Now that's better for Manchester United. Bruno Fernandes, Rashford's ball into the penalty area, far too close to Vicario, who's looking for Xerxes, who was arriving round about the penalty spot, but the pass was to the edge of the 6-yard box and Vicario just dived forward and said thank you very much.
Yeah, poor pass after a good bit of play, as you said, from Manchester United. First time we've seen them put 2-3 passes together. 1-2, Menu and Bruno Fernandes, middle of the pitch. Wonderful pass out to Marcus Rashford, but yeah, poor end product.
Yeah, or more likely, grazie, signor. Here's Werner, the German, infield towards Maddison, who curls it into the box, hooked away by Martinez for Manchester United, and then eventually touched out of play for another throw to Tottenham near the halfway line. James Maddison is one of the players who is being watched by Lee Carsley, your old teammate, who's sitting about 15 yards to our left, slightly ahead of us as well, and he will name his next England squad on Thursday for the matches against Greece and Finland in the Nations League next month. And James Maddison was not in his squad last month, so a decent performance from Maddison would not go out of place for him. As Menu also being watched by the England interim, and Rashford likewise have a breakdown in communication, and it's out of play for a throw into Tottenham.
Yeah, and another unnecessary pass given away under no pressure. There just feels like there's a sluggishness about United, an uncertainty of whether they should take responsibility. Was that pass for me? Was that pass for someone else? So I'm not sure. I won't run. I mean, and it's quite the opposite for Spurs, that you're getting 2 or 3 players go for the same ball at times and then figuring it out. Spurs look like they've started this game really well.
Yeah, they have. Another throw in for Spurs just inside their own half. This goes back to the possession thing, though, that you were talking about, Leon. You know, for Manchester United supporters who want to see their team dominate and play exciting attacking football, I just think so many of them will not accept that Tottenham come here and have more possession than Manchester United do. As it comes back to Onana, steps out of his penalty area, taps it to Martinez, who then turns it out to Dalot on the left-hand side. Now Diogo Dalot gets going for Manchester United. Forward it goes, not with great pace, but Rashford takes it in his stride. Rashford now running at Pedro Porro into the penalty area, but all the way through over the dead ball line as Porro chased him, and Rashford ends up running down the little slope there is at the back and into the advertising hoardings. Keeps his feet though, he's okay, but goal kick.
Yeah, good defending from Pedro Porro. Marcus Rashford getting to full speed. I like what I saw from Marcus Rashford. Yes, he didn't end up kind of crossing or getting a shot, but he took responsibility. He said, I'm going to try and create something. He ran at full pace and was just pushed off the edge of the pitch as he was trying to cross the ball. But first time somebody's really done that for Manchester United, for Marcus Rashford.
In the Women's Super League, Manchester United have already won today, won 1-0 at Everton. Win for Manchester City as well, 1-0 against Brighton. Matches that are currently underway. West Ham 1, Liverpool 1, Leicester 0, Arsenal 1, and just underway, Aston Villa against Tottenham. And you can listen to commentary of that online, by the way, via the BBC Sport website and app. Highlights on the Women's Football Show tonight on BBC One, after Match of the Day 2, or anytime on iPlayer. Manchester United 0, Tottenham 1, and here's Bentancur. Brennan Johnson scoring the goal. 4 goals now this season. Tottenham's top scorer, and it all stems, doesn't it, as Bruno Fernandes plays the ball over the top for Garnacho to chase. First time we've seen him be able to run onto a ball like this. He's eventually collected it in the full-back position, the Argentine international, Garnacho, but then Mazraoui passed it straight into Werner, falls on the ball, handles it, and it's a free kick to Tottenham near the corner of their own penalty area. Manchester United simply have not got going.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about these Old Trafford fans not wanting to see the team have less possession than Spurs. I think that's just the sign of the time. Spurs are a team that want to take possession. United are not a bad team on the counter-attack. They're actually quite effective with fast breaks and being in that position. The problem is they're having to work hard without the ball, that when they do get the ball and get an opportunity, like we just saw Garnacho there, he then doesn't want to take the fullback on because he's trying to get his breath back. He's happy just to pass it back to this fullback, and suddenly they've given the ball away. They need to hurt this Tottenham team when they get possession of the ball.
It's Leon Osman, former Everton and England midfielder. De Ligt has missed the ball on the halfway line. Spurs with Udogie takes it on, passes it square. Kulusevski on the edge of the D. Now to Johnson, shoots against the post, the far post from the angle, and it comes out for Manchester United. What a let-off that is. I must say, I thought he was going to bury it, Brennan Johnson, there for his second of the match, but no, the post and out.
Oh, he's so unlucky. He really is. It wasn't the easiest of angles to get the shot away from, but he hits it brilliantly. Good break from Spurs. Good passing back to front. Manchester United miss a couple of tackles on the halfway line, and Spurs are then able to break. They pick out Kulusevski, centre of the goal, probably 5 yards outside the D, and I actually thought maybe he was going to go on and take the shot himself. He passed it to the right to Brennan Johnson, a man who's full of confidence. Good first touch, decent effort, hard and low across the goalkeeper. Agonising to see him. Seen the replay of Ange Postecoglou as well. Hands to his head as that comes back off the upright. Good attack from Spurs. Could have been 2-0.
Yeah, could easily have been 2-0. However, it stays Manchester United 0, Tottenham 1. 5 Live on this Premier League Sunday. BBC Sounds as well. You can listen to 5 Live and all BBC Radio via BBC Sounds. We're also on the World Service right now, and there's concern for Udogie, who is receiving treatment because Jed Spence has been sent out to warm up, and one of the medical men is flexing the right leg of Destiny Udogie, who is flat on his back and is now being helped to his feet, so he'll have to leave the field, and then we'll see if he's going to be able to continue.
Well, he's walking off the pitch, so that's a good sign at least. But it was a good break from Spurs. They just passed it to Udogie, flicked it round the corner, sped forward. Just seeing the replay as he plays it in, there's no contact on him, so it will be probably some sort of muscular injury.
Yeah, I think he's going to come on, Jed Spence. Yeah, he's whipped off his Dayglow training bib, and will come on. Will he come on now? No, play continues. So Tottenham playing without Udogie for the time being. Actually, he's gone and put the bib back on. So they are just having a second thoughts about whether Udogie is going to need to come off. Still, the conversation continues as Manchester United 1-0 down. Could easily be 2-0 down after Johnson's shot hit the post. Now into the box. Menu does well. Xerxes! Oh, good save, Vicario. Diving down to his right. Xerxes rather stretching for it. 12 yards out. Left foot shot, but full extension. Vicario diving down to his right and stopping it and saving it.
Oh, what a save that is at a crucial moment of the game. Spurs down to 10 men momentarily, trying to reorganise. Van der Ven went left back, Bentancur went central, and it left a huge hole in the base of that midfield that United, with a good bit of play, took complete advantage of, got into that position. Decent effort from Xerxes on the stretch, as you said, but all the way to the right. Not only did he manage to keep it out, but he kept hold of it as well to stop anyone tapping the ball in brilliant moment.
Yep, back to Swansea in a moment, but Werner on the attack. Werner's ball across, causing problems, but Manchester United in the end, Dalot was able to step out, control it. Now it's played up to Xerxes. I think has been fouled, yes he has, by Christian Romero from behind. Free kick to Manchester United, 10 yards inside their own half, that Bruno Fernandes takes quickly. Rashford running onto this. Rashford, Udogie is back on the field. Rashford playing it across for Garnacho, and the ball go all the way through for a goal kick. So full time, Swansea, Bristol City in the Championship. Molly Stevens.
Yeah, Swansea City 1, Bristol City 1 it ends. A brilliant, free-flowing game of football, John. 2 goals, 2 headers. Bango gives Swansea the opener in the first half. Jason Knight with the equaliser in the second. Swansea will feel this is an opportunity missed, I think. They let some golden opportunities slip to double or triple their lead, but Bristol City continue to threaten to earn their draw. It's finished Swansea City 1, Bristol City 1.
Still Manchester United 0, Tottenham 1 here at Old Trafford. Still raining, I think, in Bristol. The one-day international, the deciding one-day international, and full-time with you at Welford Road, Chris Jones.
Where Bath have won, Leicester 15, Bath 20. Dan Cole's late Borough over for Leicester, threatened a tense finish, but too little too late. Strange game, frantic, eventful. Neither team will think they played particularly well, but Bath a better team. They deserved it, they've won. Leicester 15, Bath 20.
Tottenham's men winning 1-0 away from home. Tottenham's women now winning 1-0 away from home at Aston Villa in the Women's Super League. Villa 0, Tottenham 1. Might well hear from some Villa people at half-time after the 2-2 draw. Going to go to Villa Park as Manchester United concede a free kick on the halfway line. Maddison just being shoved over, so a free kick to Tottenham. I'll be at Villa on Wednesday night. We've got Champions League coverage and commentary Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Europa League on Thursday. 5 Live will be the place to hear Porto, Manchester United, live from the Dragao on Thursday evening in the Europa League, the next testing fixture that's coming up for Manchester United. So 1-0 down, Leon Osman, 1-0 down to Tottenham. They've got to go to Porto on Thursday as Manchester United win it back. Ugarte, but then can't take it any further. Ugarte did well there, and then the ball is hit forward by Martinez all the way through to Vicario, who's able to field it, which he does, and overarm it out. Yeah, Manchester United next Sunday at Aston Villa, and then after that home to Brentford. We will hear from Ollie Watkins at half-time, and Kieran McKenna as well, the Ipswich Town manager. So Ollie Watkins is the representative of the Aston Villa people. Cleared away by Dalot on the dead ball line, reaches Romero on the halfway line. 25 minutes played here. Tottenham deserve their lead. They've been much the better team. Dominic Solanke over on the right hand side. Solanke, there's colour there from Marcus Rashford, although Tottenham win it back again. Kulusevski on the edge of the penalty area, slips it through. Johnson right across goal and cleared away by Mazraoui, and Werner was right behind him. If Mazraoui had not been able to get there, that would have been 2-0.
Well, it's a brilliant piece of defending from Mazraoui. There was more likely to put it into his own goal and actually be able to make the clearance that he did. But again, quality play from Spurs. 3 or 4 players, intricate passing on the edge of United penalty area, but there's zero contact, or certainly not enough. And any time there was the hint of contact from Manchester United, they lost the duel, and it's happening time and time again. Spurs are able to play without enough pressure on the ball, and if Manchester United do muster up any pressure, Spurs win the battle. Erik ten Hag must be furious with the way this opening 20 minutes of this game's gone.
Yeah, but Ange Postecoglou will be very satisfied. This is exactly how Ange Postecoglou wants his team to play football. 1-0 they lead. Johnson's also hit a post. There was that chance there. Other opportunities as well, as Kulusevski plays it back to Pedro Porro. Pedro Porro across the field, but Garnacho's going to intercept that. I did notice as well, I don't know whether you did, Leon, when Johnson scored that goal in the 3rd minute to make it 4 in 4 matches, the television cameras picked out his dad, David Johnson, who was a youngster here at Manchester United, and he's just sitting down to our left. I couldn't see him because of the television in front of us, the television screen, but leaning around I can see his blue cap. He will be very proud, won't he, of the way that his son has dealt with everything that's been thrown at him, and now coming out smelling of roses.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, handled himself brilliantly.
Oh, De Ligt dwelt on the ball. Solanke was in on him, and eventually Mazraoui challenges, and the ball bounces out of play for what is given as a throw-in. The assistant gave it as a throw-in to Manchester United. Now it's been given as a throw-in to Tottenham. I have to say, I thought it was a throw-in to Manchester United. However,
yeah, I mean, the assistant gave it to Manchester United, but he must have been 40-50 yards away. The referee was closer. He decided to make that decision. But yeah, I mean, it's about answering critics and performing on the football pitch, and Brennan Johnson is certainly doing that. His team are doing that at the moment, but you just feel that they're going to need another goal here. You know, you've seen Spurs play well this season. You've seen Spurs dominate games for periods this season and come away without the result that they want, and there will come a moment when Manchester United get ahead of steam. But
Bentancur wins it back again. Manchester United lose possession. Here's Johnson again on the right hand side. Brennan Johnson, ball into the box. Kulusevski near the dead ball line. De Ligt has gone with him. Kulusevski still going, plays it back out to Johnson into the penalty area again, and then chipped right across the penalty area by Maddison. Werner's after it. In comes the challenge from Mazraoui, and the ball bounces out for Manchester United's throw next to their corner flag. Just going back to Brennan Johnson again there, excellent from Johnson, full of confidence now. What a change over the course of the last 4 matches, and it does stem, doesn't it, from him scoring the winning goal in added time against Coventry City in the Carabao Cup, which was the match after the North London derby, when he turned his back on social media after the criticism, as Dalot Poor clearance. Maddison with the shot, but it's straight out of Nana, who's able to scoop it up. But again, this error-strewn Manchester United performance.
Yeah, scuffed effort there from 21, 22 yards from Maddison. Yeah, but winning the ball back at will. United still trying to play out from the back. Spurs have got 4 or 5 players going in on the press, and even if United try and play it to the striker, Bentancur's there to pick it up.
It's coming back at them again. Kulusevski for Werner slips as he crosses it, but it is still managed to reach Johnson on the right hand side, who back heels it then into Martinez, and it bounces out for a throw.
United just can't figure this out. They can't figure how to get close to Tottenham. They can't figure out when to step in and stop. They've ended up with Martinez left back there. They've ended up with De Ligt right back. They're swapping over. They're not sure whether to do zonal, whether to do man-to-man, who's going in with the press, whether to keep the ball short, who should go long. And as yet, I've only seen one long pass from Manchester United in the game, avoiding this Tottenham press, and actually they nearly scored from it.
Yeah. A good start would be to stop giving the ball back to Tottenham. Kulusevski on the edge of the penalty area, he shoots, and as I said that, Manchester United gave possession back to Tottenham. I mean, the passing's not been good enough. As I say, errors all over the field. Defence looks jittery. Tottenham are all over them. Yeah, looks like Manchester United have got problems again. The Tottenham supporters to our right, you can hear them singing their songs. Here's Werner, he's doing very well actually. Werner on his first start in the Premier League this season. Werner takes it on down into the full-back position. Garnacho though puts in the challenge on him, keeps his feet, shielding the ball from Werner, trying to play it away. He's giving it to Werner. Now Udogie, who's shrugged off that, whatever that problem was. Seems okay. The left back, the Italian international. Here's James Maddison. Little ball forward to Solanke. He flips it out to the left-hand side. Werner's got space here if he's able to use it. Werner plays it across the penalty area. Udogie, left foot shot from him, but it's deflected up and over the angle of post and bar off the knee of De Ligt, and it's a corner to Tottenham.
I think if we get to half-time and it's still 1-0 to Tottenham, I think Erik ten Hag will be delighted, and I think Ange Postecoglou will be furious, and it's an incredible statement to say they're only winning 1-0 at half-time, because Spurs have dominated this first half. They've had so many chances to create the moment for the second half. They've shot from distance, they've made the wrong decision at that crucial moment, but it's certainly been one-way traffic, all played in the half to our left.
5 Live from the BBC World Service are with us as well. Looking to my left, Stretford end, Maddison with a deep corner which comes off the head of Solanke. It reaches Johnson on the right hand side. In comes the cross, overhead kick. Oh, that is just wide. Goodness me, that was so close from Romero. 10 yards out, something like that. Johnson's cross causing the problems, and Nana diving to his left, narrowly wide.
Yeah, I mean, it was a decent ball in, and he just created his own space. He just backed up. Martinez is trying to mark him. He just ran him 3 yards backwards, ran forwards, and suddenly had the chance to do an overhead kick. So close to actually finding the back of the goal. That'd have been a wonderful effort.
It really would. And Mazraoui now dives in, fouls Udogie. That's a free kick to Tottenham, halfway inside the Manchester United half on the left-hand side. It has finished Leicester City 0, Arsenal 1 in the WSL. So we'll hear more on that from Chris Coles at half-time. And also West Ham 1, Liverpool 1 is a final score in the Women's Super League. As I say, the highlights on BBC One late tonight after match of the day too. Free kick to Tottenham, Leon.
Yeah, a bit of frustration there from Mazraoui. Finally a reaction from Manchester United, somebody actually getting frustrated and trying to at least dive in and win the ball back, trying to get the crowd on side, trying to make something happen. Easy free kick for the referee to give.
Yeah, yellow card as well for Mazraoui. Maddison plays the ball in with the outside of his right boot. That had confidence about it as well, didn't it? The free kick on the left, just took it with the outside of his right boot, tried to curl it in. Here's Johnson again on the right hand side. There's danger for Manchester United coming from all angles. Johnson's ball into the area, that's cleared away. Comes out for Tottenham again. Solanke, lovely interplay. Kulusevski couldn't find the pass. Mazraoui was able to cut it out. Mazraoui plays it forward. Here's Garnacho now. A rare attack for Manchester United. Garnacho sweeps it across field. Xerxes now over on the left hand side. Xerxes touched off by Menu. Then Xerxes back to Dalot. Tottenham are now back into position. And Manchester United with the ball, with Bruno Fernandes curling it in all the way beyond both Rashford and Garnacho through for a goal kick. Remains 1-0 to Tottenham, and we've got, Leon, 10 minutes to go to half-time.
Yeah, I think if United are going to hurt Tottenham, I think it has to be in those moments where they get that opportunity for a counter-attack very quick. If they give Spurs the chance to get back in and get organised, I think you heard the crowd groan, finding it a bit more difficult to really create that opportunity. We haven't really heard Ugarte's name at all. Mainu hardly had a touch. It's been all that Tottenham midfield dominating this first half.
1-0 Tottenham lead. Here's Martinez pass, but Rashford can't reach that. Romero's there, he's able to head it back to goalkeeper Vicario, who made that important save from Xerxes. But if you look, Leon, here at my list of chances, that speaks for itself, doesn't it?
Yeah.
On one side of the piece of paper, Xerxes shot, and the other side is a long list of Tottenham names.
Yeah, I feel like I'm repeating myself in just saying Spurs are first to every ball. They've been better in possession. United haven't figured out how to hit this Tottenham team at all.
Fernandes now playing it through to Garnacho, right side of the box, pulls it back. Kulusevski was able to get there first, ahead of Kobbie Mainoo, just got something on it. Played it onto the Manchester United man, and Tottenham cleared downfield to Solanke, who was quite optimistic, thinking that he was going to win a free kick for that. Sort of nudged into Mazraoui and threw himself to the ground. Ange Postecoglou thinks that should have been a foul. Manchester United with Rashford. Rashford runs into the area, then back out of the box again. Dalot gives it back to Rashford on the left. Here's the cross. Garnacho, back post! Volleys against the post. From the angle, near the corner of the 6-yard box. It hit the outside of the post on the way wide.
Well, that's how you do it. You stretch the opposition. Marcus Rashford out on that left-hand side. Big diagonal over to him. And he plays a long ball to the back post, or beyond the back post, really. Where Garnacho was unmarked because they got Xerxes in the box, they got Mainu arriving, they got Bruno Fernandes in there, taking up those Spurs players, which allowed that overload at the far post. And so unlucky, just catches it brilliantly, but just hits that front post.
Remains 1-0 to Tottenham, but Manchester United have got another entry on the left side of the piece of paper with that good cross from Rashford.
But what started it all was, I don't know if you heard Cole Palmer's interview yesterday after that Chelsea game.
Well, I heard a bit when he was talking about Dennis Bergkamp.
Yeah, I saw that part as well. But I'm saying what they did is they did their homework, and if you're playing against a high line, first time passes with runners going in, that's how you break it down. Has to be a first time pass. Up till that point, United taking too many touches, allowing Spurs to recover. In that one moment, one first time pass, one run, opportunity.
Xerxes now through to Garnacho, but Tottenham white shirts coming back. Garnacho tries to slip it into the penalty area, but passes it straight to Udogie, and Tottenham could be on the break here. Maddison's pass, though, actually deflects for Kulusevski. Kulusevski plays it through to Werner. Werner now away from De Ligt, and he shoots into the legs of Onana. He was one-on-one with the Manchester United goalkeeper, who came out almost to the edge of the area. Werner went for goal. I think he tried to slip it under the goalkeeper, and he saved it with his legs.
It's a really poor finish, It's a really big chance, that is. Going through 1v1, you're right, Onana came rushing out, but he didn't get close enough to use his arm. Werner opened his body up. He could have done anything. He could have gone round the keeper to his right. He could have finished it either way, go over him, gone left around him. And he took the opportunity on from probably 25 yards. Keeper's still in his penalty area. And I think he scuffed it into Onana's feet. It could have potentially bobbled through the legs, but it didn't. Onana came out quickly, narrowed the angle. Really poor finish. He looked nervous as he was running through on goal. Big opportunity again for Spurs.
Yeah, it's not his strong suit, is it?
You got your eye on the suite in front of us there for half time, haven't you?
Where's that tiramisu? One-on-one, Timo Werner. He doesn't score as often as he should do. And another Tottenham attack down the right-hand side.
Yeah,
Dalot fouling Kulusevski, absolutely hauled him down. Yellow card for Dalot, so both Manchester United fullbacks have been booked now.
Just seeing that chance again, just showing it on the replay. Had so many options and an awful lot of time. Maybe that was what worried him. Some players need no thinking time. They need to be able to just do things instinctively.
Free kick then. Maddison swirls it in. Onana comes for it, gets a punch on it, not convincingly. Hasn't cleared the penalty area. It's blocked by Menu. The shot from Van de Ven, and then Johnson on the follow-up hits it into the body of Xerxes, and the ball rebounds and lands somewhere about halfway up the lower tier of the Stretford end for a Tottenham corner.
I think United are desperate for the half-time whistle here. They're still just scrambling, just fighting.
Leon, they're desperate in more senses than one.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, ball into the penalty area. Onana gets the ball, but who's the first to pick up the second ball? Spurs. Who wins another duel? Spurs.
Here's the corner. Van de Ven, little glance, but headed away by Dallo on the edge of the 6-yard box. Nodded back across by Bentancur, and now on the edge of the area, Romero goes down rather easily. Manchester United clear, comes back at them. Johnson, edge of the area, little ball into Maddison, just got it caught up underneath his feet. Romero heads it forward. Every time it comes back at Manchester United. Romero, though, loses possession. Now a chance for Manchester United to break. Xerxes to Rashford near the centre circle. They want him to go forward, but he holds it up. And in the frustration, the anger from the home sections of the Manchester United support, every time United don't do what Tottenham do, there is frustration in the stands as Maddison is fouled by Bruno Fernandes. I think that's going to be a yellow card. Oh, it's a red card. Bruno Fernandes is sent off for that challenge on James Maddison. 1-0 down to Tottenham, right up against it, and now the captain, the Manchester United captain, is sent off by Chris Kavanagh.
Well, first impressions was that it didn't look great. I mean, it's on the far side of the pitch from us. He seemed to run towards the ball, and I didn't know if he slipped, but he certainly made contact with the studs on probably just below the knee of James Maddison. From what we're seeing, we still haven't seen the replay yet. I mean, Bruno Fernandes is looking like he's really surprised by it, but his initial reaction was to apologise. Oh yeah, we're seeing it again. Maybe there was a slip, but I do think that's cynical. I do think he has left it out. I don't think it's as bad as we first thought. Having just seen it again, I think
we're actually seeing it in slow motion as well, which is do you know what? We've just seen a replay from the referee's angle.
Yeah.
And I think it does look worse from that angle.
Yeah, well, I think he's just trying to trip him up more than anything. And I do think that rather than the studs making contact, I think it's his heel, the back of his heel, but it is just below the knee of James Maddison. And because the studs were up, and because it looked with the speed that he went at, that he's caught him with the studs on the shin, the referee gave the red card. Looking back at it again, I think he's just trying to trip him up, goes a little bit high, catches him just below the knee, but with the outside of his foot and the back of his leg, rather than the studs, and it being a real dangerous studs up challenge. And the referee doesn't look like he's going to change his mind from this decision. It looks like he's going to have to leave the field of play, Bruno Fernandes. Yeah,
he is. They'll not overturn that. The referee's view of it. The VAR will not be re-refereeing this one, and actually Bruno Fernandes is now, I'm looking down from halfway up the Sir Bobby Charlton stand, watching the Manchester United captain all alone, Bruno Fernandes, being mocked by the Tottenham supporters, who I think are baiting Erik ten Hag, and Bruno Fernandes walking off the field and eventually down the tunnel, and Mason Mount is going to come on as a substitute. Erik ten Hag reacting to that. Kobbie Mainoo is walking towards this side of the field, and he's received some treatment, I think, Kobbie Mainoo, so maybe he's got a problem. Yeah, and he's having to come off.
Within all that, Kobbie Mainoo was down. The physio was quickly onto the field, and despite everything that's happened, it looks like Kobbie Mainoo's picked up an injury. I don't know if he's holding the back of his right leg there. What is he's talking to Casemiro and Anthony on the touchline? But he's come off. They've still not allowed Mason Mount on for some reason, despite him being ready to go and by the side of the pitch.
Right, well, Manchester United currently playing with 9 men, because Mount, I would have thought it would have just been a matter of course, but the fourth official is still putting his numbers into the board.
It's a strange one, that. Mount was ready. Manchester United was ready to make it, but because the official fourth official, who was still dealing with the red card, didn't put the number up on the board. Mount wasn't allowed to join the field.
And therefore Manchester United are playing with 9 men. Fortunately for them, the ball has gone out of play, and here's the change. Mason Mount coming on. He's had another injury problem at the start of this season, so just back, having started the first 3 matches of the season, Mason Mount. But Manchester United have got problems. Erik ten Hag, big problems here. They're down to 10 men. They're 1-0 down to Brennan Johnson's goal, which could be considerably worse. They're fortunate to be only 1-0 down. And Bruno Fernandes, now their captain, has been sent off 5 minutes of added time at the end of this first half. Plenty of time for Tottenham to take advantage, move further ahead if they can. Porro to the right-hand side, into the penalty area. It's touched back, but in comes Ugarte to play it back to Johnson, and then bundles him over, and that's a free kick that is actually given the other way. It's given to Manchester United. I think the way that Johnson went down and then turned and caught Ugarte, and then there's a little bit of, well, yellow cards come out for Johnson. I think possibly for the way that he shielded the ball.
Oh, I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure. I think that's the referee getting the crowd back on side. That one, let's give a cheat one, because Brennan Johnson was actually fouled, landed on the ball, held onto it, and was booked for stopping a quick free kick. I think
delaying the restart. Yeah, well, that was debatable. But the red card, I think you described it very well, Leon. And the crucial thing in that, as you mentioned, Bruno Fernandes did immediately apologise, which I think backs up the feeling that he did actually slip, and as a result did go in with a high foot, but did catch Maddison. And I think that the referee's view of that did make it look maybe a little worse, but you know, that's the referee's call, that, and VAR would I think now VAR would simply not overturn that.
Yeah, and as you said, because of the instant hand in the air apology, plus the Spurs defensive line all charging at the referee and trying to tell him it was a bad one, which even from our angle initially I thought it looked like it was going to be in the referee's mind.
Here's Werner on the left hand side, deep high crossover. Johnson at the back post, who goes down inside the penalty area. He was sandwiched between 2 Manchester United men. Pedro Porro, the right back, received possession. I think he might have been tugged on the shirt there, do you?
Oh, maybe at that far post, Brennan Johnson, just as he tried to spin and run after the ball.
1-0 Tottenham lead, 5 Live and the World Service from the BBC. You're on the move, BBC Sounds, Champions League, Europa League commentary this week. Bruno Fernandes will be able to go to Porto, but straight red card, that'll be a 3-match suspension, won't it? So he won't. He'll be suspended for Aston Villa away, Brentford at home, and Manchester United with the ball inside their own half. Ugarte's Xerxes pass was behind Rashford. Rashford plays it infield, but plays it straight into Bentancur, and Tottenham have got it back.
They need more from Xerxes there. The ball's come up to him a few times in this game, and he's lost possession so easily. He just keeps either flicking it or trying to play a first-time pass. His pass completion rate can't be very high at the moment.
Mason Mount bowls into the back of Bentancur in the centre circle. It's a free kick. I thought he'd be lucky not to get a yellow card for that, Mason. He does. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Came in at pace and just bowled him over, an elbow into the back.
Yeah, it was like it bundled into him really, rather than dangling a leg, rather than kicking him. Just barged right into him, and in the modern game you don't get one. He's saying it's the first tackle and I've only just come on ref, but in the modern game you don't get that. You're going to get in the yellow card in the book, which they don't need. More people are already walking that tightrope of being on the yellow card, already down to 10 men.
Yeah, and if it is a 3-match ban, the third match would be West Ham away, that Bruno Fernandes would be unavailable for through suspension. The problems are absolutely piling up for Erik ten Hag and Manchester United, but most importantly it's the way that they've played, or the way that they haven't played in the first half. They've been dominated. I mean, Tottenham should be out of sight as Mount clears it on the edge of the penalty area. The 10 men of Manchester United.
Yeah, well, what I would say is this first half has already looked like it's been to Spurs having an extra man. They look like they've been playing against 10 men for 40 odd minutes, because they've dominated. They've been on the edge of United's box. United haven't been able to get out, and I said before, I think Ange will be frustrated that the score's only what it is.
Kulusevski now to the edge of the penalty area. Martinez on the stretch just got there ahead of Solanke, and Martinez has actually been able to find the pass to Mount down the right wing for Garnacho, but the speedy Van de Ven, showing the kind of speed that he did in the 3rd minute when he set up the opening goal, actually beats Garnacho and slides it out of play.
Yeah, I think he gave Garnacho a head start. How quick Mickey Van de Ven. I mean, it's a brilliant attribute to have pace wherever you play, but to have it when you can see the game and read the game and get off and cover, it's brilliant for his manager.
1-0 Tottenham lead, and there is the half-time whistle. Listen to this. That is the old chorus of boos inside Old Trafford, and Erik ten Hag walks away down the touchline with Ange Postecoglou 15 yards behind him. Big team talk coming up here for Erik ten Hag.
Yeah, because, you know, we spoke before the game about the significance of winning or losing this fixture and what it could mean to how your season is perceived. Well, Spurs look like a team that are challenging for top 4. They look like a team that have just had a bit of a tricky start and a slow start to the season. United look all over the place. They look like they're not quite sure what they are. They look like they're a team in disarray. They're miles off the levels that Tottenham showed in that first half. And this is Old Trafford. This is with thousands of people desperate to get behind the team, and they started so slowly, Manchester United, in this big fixture, and allowed Spurs to gain that momentum with that wonderful goal.
Boos for the referee as well, Chris Kavanagh, for the red card for Bruno Fernandes. But we've talked you through that, and so Tottenham lead 1-0 at half-time, only 1-0. That thrilling goal, really thrilling. If you can see that on Match of the Day 2 tonight, do so, or wherever. Set up absolutely amazingly, really, by Mickey Van de Ven, and then finished by Brennan Johnson, who's now scored in four matches in a row. And it's only a couple of weeks ago that we saw him. He didn't want to go to the Tottenham fans at the end of the Coventry Carabao Cup tie because of what had happened after the North London derby. Amazing, isn't it, in football, in sport, how things can change. And here we are, Old Trafford, Manchester United 0, Tottenham 1 at half-time. And Steve Crossman is sitting here with us just to our left. Have you had your eyes on... Is Jim Ratcliffe here today?
Do you know what? I'm not sure he is. I did have my eyes peeled, but to be honest, my gaze was just totally drawn to David Johnson, as you mentioned in commentary, father of Brennan, who I associate mostly with Ipswich Town, but also had a great time at Nottingham Forest as well. Of course, Brennan Johnson's dad. The leap he did when Brennan Johnson scored, he sort of hung in the air like he might have done in his mid-20s. It was like something out of the credits of Biker Grove. He absolutely hung up there, and he was up again when Brennan Johnson hit the post. Let's start there, actually, Leon. We've got a couple of things that we need to get to before we get to the news off the back of what we've just seen. But Brennan Johnson's been excellent. Let's start there.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. He looks like a player who's just found his confidence and found the form and playing at the levels that Spurs signed him for. And yeah, I think it's easy when you've got quality players who are always looking for your run. He wouldn't believe the space he had for that tap-in. It was a tap-in. Yes, he had to be in the right position. But 2 minutes into the game, United found themselves all over the place. Brilliant run from Van de Ven, and all 4 of United's defenders, not one of them was in the middle of the 6-yard box where Brennan Johnson was for that tap-in. And once you're on a run of form that he has, and once you start a game of this magnitude with a goal inside the first couple of minutes, you feel like you can do anything. And he'll be upset, actually, despite having a very good first half, that he was inches away from scoring a second.
Do you know, John, sitting here, this first half, red card aside, reminds me so much of when you and I were here watching Manchester United play Liverpool, in that every single time United got the ball at the back, almost every single time, they gave it away. They look like one of those teams in the sort of bottom third of the Premier League that try to play it out the back when they don't necessarily have the players to do it. But Manchester United do.
Well, when you said it reminds me of, I was thinking, which terrible performance by Manchester United here at Old Trafford is it that you're going to pick out? The difference, I would say, is that in matches like the games when they've been outplayed by Liverpool, frankly, the better teams at the moment, they have been outplayed. This has been a performance where they have been so disjointed. It's come from them, I think. I mean, partly the way that Tottenham have played, but the errors, the mistakes, simply not good enough for Manchester United.
But they know going into this game, I think these two teams are two of the teams that have pressed the most in the final third to try and win the ball back high up. And I know Spurs certainly are one of those teams that like to be aggressive, high line, go and try and press on the edge of the opposition's penalty area. So it shouldn't come as a surprise that they're doing it to Manchester United, and yet Manchester United are trying to play in their own penalty area under pretty good pressure from Tottenham Hotspur, and they're not a team of confidence. They're not a team that I associate with that outstanding quality at the back to play through the lines. All the space is in the middle third, and more ideally a ball over the top. We've seen them play two balls of 40-50 yards in behind Tottenham, and they've got in nearly on both occasions, and it seems to be something you're not allowed to talk about. A long ball, a direct pass, it's like everybody has to play wonderful football, beating the press. It's not always the case. You play where the opposition are weak, you play where they give you spaces to play, and Spurs have given United spaces to play and try and take advantage of them, but United have tried to play through Spurs' strength, and it's backfired on them.
And talking about how important as we did before the match, for this new look partnership in the middle, Ugarte and Menu, Bruno Fernandes part of that as well. Well, there we are, 1-0 down, could have been many more. Tottenham just running through them almost at will, United giving the ball away. Ugarte still on the field, Menu's gone off injured, and Bruno Fernandes has been sent off.
Just reading some of the messages actually we're getting on the red card to 85058 and at 5 Live Sport. Chris, the Fernandes foul didn't look as bad on a replay, but the intent was there. He knows full well he'll do damage if he catches him that high up. Steve says, not me, if that's a red card, then tackling will soon be outlawed altogether. He slips, he just scrapes Maddison's leg. Oliver says, wouldn't worry too much about the red. Bruno wasn't even playing in the first half anyway. All jokes aside, this could get ugly for Manchester United. 08085 909 693. The lines will be open very shortly. We will tell you when they are for 606. Actually, Robbie Savage is with us now. Hi, Rob.
Oh, Steve, what a first half from Spurs. Manchester United absolutely miles off. I just heard you say United have got the players to play out. Have they? Do you think they have?
Well, I mean, they've got players who
to play out, do you think?
Done that at clubs almost as big as Manchester United. I mean, Bayern
do you
Munich,
think Man United
Ajax,
can play out? Do you think they can play out like that?
I think those players have
against a team that play press.
Yeah.
I disagree.
Yeah.
I disagree.
Those
They're
players,
giving the ball away all the time.
I know they are, but those players are good enough. You know, these are not players at
Listen,
the bottom end of the
Premier League players, Steve, all Premier League players are good enough to handle the ball and play out. But you need to be coached, you need to have a pattern, you need to have a plan, you need to have a strategy. Yeah.
So that's my question. Is the problem the strategy then, Robbie? Is that why
it's
they
both,
keep giving
I
it
don't
away?
think.
Right.
I don't think the players are good enough to play out. Dalot comes inside to be as a midfield player.
Yeah.
So he's a right footer on as a left back. Mazraoui, I'm not sure. And there's no
Dalot
mobility.
was player of the year in that position last season, though, Rob, wasn't he?
Yeah, brilliant. But we're not talking about last season. Man United won the Champions League 25 years ago, Steve.
There's a slight difference between.
No, it's not.
No,
it's not about last year. It's not about last year. It's about now.
Yep.
About now. Listen, David De Gea was player of the year 4 years in a row. Is he there now? No. So you can't go back to last year, Steve.
My point is that Dalot is a good enough player in that position and has played well enough in that position to not do what he and the rest of defence have done.
I heard
today.
John as well. I heard John say, and John makes a very, very good point. I was at the game against FC 20 in midweek, and they ran straight through him. And again, Van der Ven, wow, what a player, amazing. What a run. But somebody's got to take him down, somebody's got to engage him, and there's no mobility in the heart of Manchester United's team, the spine of the team. De Ligt, Menu, Ugarte, Fernandes, Zirkzee. They can't run.
The red card, Rob?
Red card, listen to you. I think you've got a fair point on that one, Steve. He slipped, but it's a red. It's a red. It's as simple as that. He's unfortunate, he slipped, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you slip. If I slipped and took you out in the chest, Steve, it'd still be a red card. It was high.
I won't be back for the second half if you did that. This is absolutely... I mean, sort of tempted to say, Rob, that it's going to be a massive 45 minutes for Manchester United. Yeah. You look at what's happened, you look at what's to come. What the heck does Erik ten Hag do now, though? What does he do at half-time?
I tell you what, the funny thing is, going down to 10 in a funny kind of way listen, 11 v 11, it could have been 3, 4, 5 in that first half.
Yeah.
10 v 11, listen, if they get away with a 1 or 2-0, it might be better that they've gotten out of 10 Man United, because there's a little bit of excuse there. You know what I mean? Because they were that bad in the first half. One of the worst first halves of football I've ever seen from a Ten Hag side or a Manchester United side. But listen, Spurs, absolutely magnificent, but we know how football works, Steve. Unless Spurs don't get that second goal, Man United could nick it. Chris went for 2-1 Manchester United, Stephen's predictions. He's having a shocking time. Listen, I'm sure it's going to be a lively 606 08 085 909 693, Steve.
Thank you very much, Robbie. And the lines are open right now. Let's go back into the WSL. Leicester City Arsenal was a 3 o'clock kickoff. Chris Coles.
Far from convincing, but a win for Arsenal to continue their good start to the season, beating Leicester by 1-0. Frida Marnham's goal capitalising on a rare Leicester error. Short back pass seized upon by Alessia Russo, kept the composure, found Marnham in space to tap in. Leicester, though, created more than enough to force an equaliser. Arsenal keeper Daphne van Domselaar on debut, making 2 excellent one-on-one saves late on. 4 points from Arsenal's opening 2 games in the WSL and Champions League progression. It's been a good week, and on this evidence, a positive season ahead for Leicester. Leicester 0, Arsenal 1.
Other full times: West Ham 1, Liverpool 1, Everton 0, Manchester United 1, and in the early kick-off, Manchester City beat Brighton by 1-0. Half-time, Villa 0, Tottenham 1 in the final game of the day in the WSL. In the Scottish Premiership, Rangers beat Hibs by 1-0. In the Championship, it finished 1-1 in the game between Swansea City and Bristol City. And in the Premier League, it was Ipswich 2, Aston Villa 2. We will squeeze in what reaction we can before the second half here at Old Trafford. Let's get the news now on 5 Live with Alison Hughes.
The voice of the UK.
And the home of the Premier League.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Lebanon's Prime Minister says continuing Israeli attacks may have already forced 1 million people from their homes. Israel has kept up its bombardment of targets in Lebanon after killing Hassan Nasrallah, the leader of the Iranian-backed group Hezbollah. Eva Homsi is an emergency worker helping those forced to leave their homes.
The number of displacement is really increasing on a daily basis with no destination to reach. More than 320 shelters are opened now, but actually not all of them are accessible by the people. And even if there is additional and more number of displacement than the shelter can receive.
The Cabinet Office Minister, Pat McFadden, says the government will close a loophole and force ministers and shadow ministers to declare all hospitality after the row over gifts given to Sir Keir Starmer. Last night, the MP, Rosie Duffield, quit Labour, criticising the Prime Minister for accepting gifts worth tens of thousands of pounds while restricting the winter fuel payment. The Conservative Party conference has opened in Birmingham. All 4 leadership candidates, Kemi Badenoch, Robert Jenrick, James Cleverly and Tom Tugendhat, are all there trying to win support. 2 teenagers are in hospital with life-threatening injuries after a car mounted a pavement and hit them in central Manchester. A 30-year-old woman is being questioned on suspicion of dangerous driving. And a former Russian spy and his daughter, who were poisoned by the nerve agent Novichok in Salisbury in 2018, will not have to appear to give evidence to a public inquiry. The judge overseeing the hearings said there was an overwhelming risk of an attack on Sergei and Yulia Skripal.
Europe's elite club competition.
The Champions League.
Right here on BBC Radio 5 Live.
On Tuesday at 8.
Arsenal host PSG.
Right footed. This is saved by Ryan. A fantastic double save.
And on Wednesday at 8.
Aston Villa take on Bayern Munich.
Tielemans waiting. Control. Driven shot. Bottom corner.
And watch highlights of every single match with Match of the Day, Wednesday night on BBC iPlayer.
The Champions League
on 5 Live. Listen on BBC Sounds. This is 5 Live Sport
with Steve Crossman.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
Manchester United players back out early here at Old Trafford with the second half still a couple of minutes away. Is it still raining in Bristol, Nikesh Regani?
It is, yeah. The covers are on. I think a lot of the fans have gone home. It still hasn't officially been called off, but it looks like it will be. And that will mean that Australia win the series. They were set 310 to win by England after a century from Ben Duckett. They made it to 165 for 2 in the 21st over. Remember, 20 overs constitutes a full match. They're well ahead on the Duckworth-Lewis method. So at this stage, it looks as though Australia are going to win the series, but they currently stand at 165 for 2 in the 21st over.
Let's squeeze in a bit of Ipswich boss Liam Delap speaking to John Southall after the 2-2 draw with Aston Villa.
Great game to watch for the neutral. What was it like for the manager?
No, it was a great game. Of course, stressful at times, but also, you know, it was a really engaging game for everyone. I think it had a great ebb and flow to it. Both teams had their periods of dominance in the game. I thought we created the better chances really across the 90 plus minutes, and I think it was a performance filled of so many positives. So yeah, really good game. Again, one, you know, of our top of our checklist really. You know, of course, winning games in whatever league we're in is the most important thing, but you know, being a team that are, you know, the supporters can come here and see a fantastic game in the stadium, be proud of the team, the way they represent themselves. I think that's really important to us, and I think the supporters have seen a great game today and they all go home really proud of the team.
Yeah. We spoke about Liam Delap, I think, when he scored that goal against Fulham here. He got 2 more today. I mean, he has really stepped up, hasn't he?
He has, yeah. It's, you know, it's great to see. He's a young striker still finding his way. A few loan moves in the Championship. So to come in and be starting at 21 years old in the Premier League, week in, week out as a centre forward is a big ask.
That's Kieran McKenna, and we are getting underway in the second half at Old Trafford. John Murray.
With the score, Manchester United 0, Tottenham 1, and Erik ten Hag facing a world of problems. His captain, Bruno Fernandes, sent off late in the first half. Manchester United playing with 10 men. They've made a change. Casemiro has come on, having been an unused substitute the last couple of matches, but they've brought him on alongside Ugarte and Mason Mount in the midfield. Xerxes is off. Solanke just caught in an offside position, and also a change for Tottenham. If you're listening in the first half, Destiny Udogie seemed to have a problem during the course of the first half. Well, Jed Spence has now come onto the field to replace him, and that's a straight swap. So Spence has come on as the left back. So the teams now, Manchester United, who are in possession inside their own half. Long pass for Rashford to chase, but Vicario comes out into the full-back position, the left full-back position, and clears to the halfway line, and Manchester United have it back with Mazraoui, who goes further back. Manchester United, Onana in goal, the 10 men this, Mazraoui, De Ligt, Martinez and Dalot. Martinez has got the captain's armband on now, incidentally, the Argentine. Then the midfield, Casemiro and Ugarte with Mason Mount, and just Garnacho and Rashford in the advanced positions as Maddison puts in a challenge on Casemiro that has given us a free kick, and you can hear the home supporters. They'll have all seen the replays of Bruno Fernandes' challenge. I'm sure many Manchester United supporters will feel that it shouldn't have been a red card, but it was, and now they want to see the referee maybe level things up. But there we are, the Manchester United team, Leon, with the changes as tackle missed on the halfway line. Johnson's away for Tottenham into the box. Johnson tries to cross, it's snapped goalwards and in! Kulusevski on the volley from close range past Onana, and Tottenham double their lead in the second minute of the second half. Manchester United, they are sorry, they're dispirited, they're down to 10 men, and now they look like they're on the way to defeat here at Old Trafford. 2-0, and it's so hard to see Erik ten Hag's side come back from this in this match. Manchester United 0, Tottenham 2.
Yeah, I think the scoreline's now reflecting how this game's gone. I felt Spurs should have been at least more than 1 goal ahead at half-time. For having given the opportunity to reorganise and stop Spurs being able to attack so easily. Thought maybe it changed second half, but Manchester United are just so open. I mean, the ball goes forward, Spurs win the first duel, Solanke outmuscles Ugarte, then they play it to Johnson on the right hand side, who literally had the freedom of Old Trafford. He gets inside the penalty area from probably 10 yards inside his own box. He gets all that way unchallenged. De Ligt comes over, tries to put a block in, it loops up, and it's a wonderful finish with the outside of his foot on the volley from past the near post, aiming towards the far post with his left foot from Kulusevski. Wonderful finish. Onana doesn't really have an opportunity, but you start the second half, you want to keep it tight, maybe find an opportunity, and you start the second half as open as you've played in that whole of that first half. Spurs, again, won't believe their luck in this game. They certainly would have expected a difficult afternoon to play here at Old Trafford against Manchester United. Well, Manchester United just haven't competed today.
That's Leon Osman. The score, Manchester United 0, Tottenham 2. This is 5 Live in the World Service from the BBC. And Manchester United should be afraid. They should be very afraid. What might happen here? This is turning into an Erik ten Hag nightmare. It's only 2-0, but honestly, if you weren't listening in the first half, I mean, it could be 4, 5, any number. And Manchester United have been outplayed by Ange Postecoglou's Tottenham. But worse than that, it is the mistakes, it's the fragility, it's the absolute absence of confidence, and those players out there in red shirts. This could turn very nasty for them.
Yeah, I just think United have been far too passive. You know, again, Spurs knocking the ball. I know they've got 10 men now, and they are sitting back. There's no real pressure on the ball. There's not many tackles gone in. You go Mason Mount just trying to win the first one, but you know, Spurs would have expected to play under pressure. They haven't played under pressure. I didn't know if they'd organised, but we talked about that midfield for Manchester United and whether they had the legs. Now they've got Ugarte and Casemiro playing centrally together and trying to compete with a very dominant Spurs trio, and yeah, it doesn't look good for United.
Erik ten Hag having to stand alone on the edge of the pitch, listening to the Tottenham fans singing "You're getting sacked in the morning." This is a very, very big 40 minutes now for Manchester United and Erik ten Hag. What happens next will have a bearing on what is said in all of the discussion forums, social media. 6:06 tonight. Here's Spence on the left-hand side. His cross is over Johnson, who got an assist for that second goal. So 1 goal, 1 assist in this match. Pedro Porro now on the right, his cross too close to Onana, who's able to catch the ball and drop down onto his face. Yeah, if you're a Manchester United supporter, lines are open to talk to Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton about this Manchester United performance. 08085 909 693 to book your call. Hashtag BBC 606. Text 85058. Manchester United, they've got to find something from somewhere. And on the evidence of what we've seen here inside Old Trafford, it is a stretch of the imagination to think that they're going to be able to do that. Tottenham with Romero passing the ball to Kulusevski. Kulusevski getting off the mark for the season for him with his first goal in Tottenham colours. And it was almost an Erling Haaland style goal, wasn't it? The ball sort of chest high, but he leapt high, got the volley to it and stabbed it over Onana. Now Tottenham with it on the left-hand side. Spence challenged in the box, might run for Tottenham in the area. Spence on his knees, having been challenged by Mazraoui, gets up, palms apart, looks at referee Kavanagh, who says nothing doing. Manchester United have got it.
Yeah, I think he just got enough of the ball there, Mazraoui. I think he just stretched around Spence, who started this second start since he's come on very brightly, overlapping on that left-hand side past Werner, getting in behind Mazraoui on that 3 occasions now inside the opening 6 minutes of the second half. So he's certainly not settling for this 2-0 scoreline.
Foul conceded by Mason Mount. Tottenham have a free kick halfway inside their own half. Manchester United staring here 2-0 down at what would be already a 3rd Premier League defeat of the season. 2nd home defeat as well, after all of those home defeats last season in all competitions. I think they lost 9 times, yes, club record 9 times here at Old Trafford this season. And here now, after being well beaten by Liverpool, they're being well beaten by Tottenham. Johnson now, the danger man on the right-hand side. Wouldn't have necessarily said that a month ago. Into Kulusevski. Pedro Porro with a shot, but on the left foot, straight between the eyes of Onana, who was able to pat it down and collect it.
Yeah, they're finding spaces that you wouldn't believe are possible. the 2 or 3 yards away from each other inside the penalty area and managing to pick out passes. The United just aren't closing the passing lanes. They're not tackling, that's for sure. Porro with an effort on goal, and you can only see this continuing at the moment because United can't gain possession of the ball. Marcus Rashford has gone through the middle. Mason Mount's gone out to the right hand side, Garnacho to the left. Now you've got that midfield too that just can't get about the spaces and can't contain this Tottenham midfield.
Yellow card for Jed Spence for effectively handballing the ball out of play as Mazraoui tried to play it downfield. So Jed Spence now on a yellow card just 9 minutes after coming on as a substitute. 2-0 Manchester United lead. Here's Garnacho down the left, attacking the Stretford end, tried to play it off the defender and win a corner, but it missed him altogether. And now Romero, that man, the Tottenham captain, I mean, they've not missed Son today, that's all. We did wonder. And then Maddison is chopped down in centre field by Martinez, Lisandro Martinez, and now the captain as he is since Bruno Fernandes went off, he's now been yellow carded, and Maddison again on the receiving end of that one.
Yeah, I mean, that was you are going no further kind of tackle. Threw himself in at Maddison. He certainly committed to it. As aggression goes, that one was certainly more aggressive than the Bruno Fernandes one. He went low. James Maddison saw it coming. Basically, the referee was right on top. He couldn't have been closer unless he was touching them. He saw the severity of the tackle, thought it only was a yellow card.
That was dicing with danger from Martinez. Only a yellow card. By the way, 2-0 Tottenham lead. I think I might have said 2-0 Manchester United lead. I think a 2-0 Manchester United lead would be, as they say, in your dreams. Here's Werner down the left into the penalty area. Mazraoui is onto this. Mazraoui plays it off Werner and it bounces behind for a goal kick. And the difficult thing is, against Ange Postecoglou's side, some teams at Old Trafford winning 2-0 would think, right, we'll make sure that we win this game. Not Tottenham. There's no discernible change to the way that they're playing. 2-0, they're going for a third goal.
Oh, absolutely. It's the way they play, but at the moment you feel only Spurs can defeat themselves here at the moment by doing something silly like second yellow card or a bad tackle even, and giving the ball away unnecessarily at the back, because at the moment I can't see any other way United are going to get back into this game.
Kulusevski away from Casemiro. Kulusevski through to Werner. Werner with a shot, saved by Onana, and then the follow-up from Solanke. That's a good save, actually. Good follow-up save from Onana, who had to get up and dive down again at the feet of Solanke, and he did, and he was able to block the second effort as well. But Werner again, he had one in the first half, which was a clearer chance than this. That's another one.
Yeah, it's just, as you mentioned in the first half, John, it's just not his strength. Getting into the position is his strength. Showing his pace and playing on the edge of the offside line is his strength. He just lacks that composure, and he just lacks that assured finish at the end of it. It's a brilliant double save from Onana. Keeps the person out with his left hand. Has to get up quickly to make a double-handed save to the in-rushing Solanke, who tried to basically tackle Onana there to get it past him into the back of the goal. But when you go down to 10 men, at the start of the second half, I expected United to make some substitutions, make it competitive, and just be difficult to beat for 10 or 15 minutes, but that's just still so open.
Well, there's Rashford tackling back on Kulusevski. Casemiro carries it forward, but then Rashford loses it on the halfway line. Then in on the challenge, Ugarte. The Tottenham are able to regain possession, and Kulusevski passes it back into his own half. Excellent work from Kulusevski. I mean, he beat Casemiro, all ends up on the halfway line, and then great ball through to Werner. I think Onana is going to be a busy man over the course of the next half hour, unless something changes dramatically.
Yeah, you'd think so, because, as I mentioned, United aren't just trying to sit back and try and run the clock. I expected, as I was about to say at the start of the second half, United to get behind the ball, don't allow Spurs anything for 10 or 15 minutes, grow into the game, try and get a set piece, try and have a counter-attack to get up the pitch, but they've actually just come out and just left themselves as open. I can't believe how easy this is for Spurs. I really can't.
Werner playing it infield. Tottenham are parked in the Manchester United half. Then Maddison again is fouled, this time by Casemiro. And Maddison points down to his ankle. It's just going to be a free kick, this one. that they'll wait. Actually, it's tapped short. Bentancur now behind the ball. The other point to make is that last season Erik ten Hag, and he did, he had injuries all the way through the course of the season. Players, important first team players, not available. But this team today that he started with is arguably his first choice team. And there's Luke Shaw, but his injuries continue. But the excuses are not there. And it's this Manchester United team that is it's having rings run round it by Tottenham. Through the middle, Martinez steps in now. Martinez left-footed and forward to Garnacho. He backs away, bounces beyond Porro. Garnacho has got the ball, takes it on down the left wing. Pedro Porro goes with him, and it's blocked by the Tottenham right back behind for what is Manchester United's first corner of the match. 2-0 down.
Yeah, good play from Garnacho up against two. Brennan Johnson working as hard as ever to help his fullback Pedro Porro out in that position. They're not wanting to give anything up here, Spurs, and it does feel like it's going to take something of an individual brilliance if United to get something back in the game.
Yeah, with 10 men, remember. Here's the corner then. Mount plays it into the near post, and Martinez stretches for it. They're appealing that it might have been deflected off a Tottenham arm, but referee Kavanagh says the only thing you're getting there is another corner for that deflection, so it's a second consecutive corner. Kulusevski, possibly, his arm that it hit.
I think it may have actually hit his arm, but I think it was a yard away from the set piece as it hit him.
Corner is taken all the way out to Garnacho, 25 yards out. Now on the right hand side, Rashford plays it in, takes a deflection, bounces down. Casemiro could be in. Deluxe, Casemiro, then the shot across the face of goal from Martinez. And again they're appealing for a handball in there, Manchester United's players walking towards the referee, quite a number of them, but Chris Kavanagh just calmly walks away from them and puts his hand up, his palm, and says and you can hear the United fans in the Stretford end, they think they had a case for a handball there, and referee Kavanagh says wait to Vicario. They're going to have a look to see if that might be a penalty for handball. It came off Romero's arm, which was pretty much down by the side of his arms, and yeah, the referee says, had a quick look at that, that's not a penalty.
Yeah, I mean, it did hit his arm, but Garnacho touched it and he was only 2 yards in front.
United finally showing a bit of something. Dalot plays it, Garnacho, it runs past him, and then he's miscontrolled it out of play. Garnacho now, it's catching, goal kick.
Yeah, but just listen to the crowd now, something trying to go, claiming for a handball, then putting the ball back in Spurs' penalty area. Ricochet, maybe there was another handball. Listen to the crowd, desperate to get behind the team, desperate to encourage and help in some way, and they had one effort at goal just moments ago where Martinez should have done better, but they don't need much to get behind the crowd here.
Yeah, Martinez with a shot across goal. First chance really that they've had in the second half. Conceded early in the first half. Brennan Johnson scoring for the fourth consecutive match, and then Dejan Kulusevski with his first of the season early in the second half. Free kick to Manchester United in the central third of the field. But now finally Manchester United seem to have woken up, and there's a little bit of something from them. And I suppose what you'd say is they have the opportunity here. It is right here for them, the 10 men. If they're able to recover in this match, then the whole picture changes. Mount with the free kick for Manchester United. To the right of the centre circle, poor delivery, easily headed away by Kulusevski. Mazraoui now stabs it forward over the top of Martinez. The ball runs away towards the corner flag, down over there where the Stretford end meets the Sir Alex Ferguson stand. Back to Mazraoui, forward onto the chest of Martinez. Left-footed ball high across the penalty area, looking for Garnacho, but Johnson was there in front of him to scoop it behind for another United corner.
They were always going to find a moment in the second half. You always felt that over the course of 90 minutes they'll get a bit of momentum somewhere. Imagine they didn't start the second half sloppily, give that cheap goal away. Imagine it was 1-0 now with this possibility of the crowd getting behind. Tottenham would be a bit more nervous if the scoreline was only 1-0.
Garnacho with the corner for Manchester United, the edge of the 6-yard box, and it's headed by Casemiro down and wide of the far post. Goal kick to Tottenham. But we've had for the first time in the match, and we are now into the last half hour, a period of Manchester United pressure. And listen to what it's done to the atmosphere.
Yeah, and it's not pressure through outplaying Spurs or getting the ball wide or overlaps, good team play. It's literally just putting the ball in areas, winning the second ball, being on the front foot and stepping into good positions. There's another one.
Yeah, Martinez bundled over by Solanke, middle of the half.
But long ball forward, and instead of being passive, Martinez is ready to step in and ready to commit to go and win a challenge. It's amazing the difference that can make, and suddenly Spurs are now the team that look a little bit half a yard off it. Spurs are the team that are going to have to find a way of getting control of the game again.
Yeah, it's been a Premier League match, this, that has actually been quite like a cup tie. And I'm thinking now about that Liverpool FA Cup quarter-final last season when, Liverpool should have won that by an absolute street, and somehow Manchester United found a way back. That's what they're looking for now. Mount with the free kick, he's overhit that, and Vicario comes, stretches high, and the Tottenham goalkeeper is able to make a comfortable catch.
And what you can't afford to do is have poor delivery from set pieces. You need to count on set pieces. They're big opportunities. That's 2 poor deliveries.
Yeah, they've got to strike now when the iron's hot, haven't they? Manchester United, while the going's good. Solanke running through, but I don't think he was offside. Was that? Did it bounce up into his arm?
No, he's gave a nudge. I think he's...
Oh, a nudge on Rashford.
He was letting that kind of thing go in the first half. But in the second half, he's stopping the game an awful lot more.
Onana hits this free kick downfield looking for Garnacho, but it was well dealt with by Porro. Now Johnson slips the ball down the line, keeps his feet very well actually, and then Kulusevski gets a nudge in the back from Ugarte, goes sprawling down to free kick in the full-back area, and that's a yellow card for Ugarte now.
You mentioned full debut for Ugarte in the Premier League today. It's not been the easiest of 64, 65 minutes. He's realising exactly the pace that Premier League football is played at. That was a long bursting run that Kulusevski made in behind that left-back area, and it's a central midfielder. He's had to match it, he's had to go with it, and he couldn't stick with Kulusevski. Barge in the back, yellow card and a free kick near the corner flag for Spurs.
I'll make that 5 yellow cards for Manchester United now. Free kick to Tottenham, who lead 2-0 against the 10 men of Manchester United. And Maddison and Kulusevski standing together just down to our right. Maddison, long sleeves to his shirt, blue sleeves, points his finger, and then it's taken short by Maddison. Kulusevski curls it in, headed away by Rashford though, headed away by Ugarte. Tottenham comes back to them. Timo Werner, 2 big chances in the match. If he'd scored either of those, Tottenham really now would be out of sight. But Spurs have to go all the way back to goalkeeper Vicario on this now grey afternoon here at Old Trafford. Last I heard, it was still raining in Bristol. I don't think there's any further play, and were it to finish like that, Australia would win and win the 5-match series. And it is still delayed by rain. Coverage continues on Sports Extra. Here's Garnacho then forward from Mazraoui down the left wing, headed on by Casemiro, but straight out of play for a throw-in to Tottenham. Ipswich 2, Aston Villa 2 was the score in our first Premier League commentary of today. Rangers won 1-0 against Hibernian, finished Swansea 1, Bristol City 1, Leicester 15, Bath 20 in the rugby. And there will be more live sport on Sports Extra tonight. The NFL, Darren Fletcher and Greg Brady will bring you the LA Chargers against Kansas City Chiefs at 9 o'clock on Sports Extra. Here is Jed Spence down the left-hand side. Werner now hugging the touchline, now beginning to move infield. Still going Werner. Left foot ball whipped across to the near post, but into the gloves of Onana, who makes a secure catch there and then rushes out to the edge of the penalty area. Quarter of the match to play. Still Tottenham in control, but Manchester United having found something that was absolutely bereft from their game in the first half, as Mount is then shoved in the back by Van de Ven. Free kick, no yellow card this time. Free kick to Manchester United, 15 yards inside their own half. Tottenham with this scoreline on the way to what would be 4 wins in a row in all competitions. Dalot playing the ball down the left-hand side. Now into the area. Garnacho challenged by Pedro Porro. I think must have got a little bit of the ball there. There was cover from Romero as well. And then Johnson infield. Bentancur to James Maddison. Outside of his boot, Maddison naturally gets it all wrong, passes it straight to Mazraoui. Manchester United. Here's Casemiro in the centre circle. Casemiro goes for a Maddison. The outside of his boot down the right-hand side. Mazraoui chasing that, but Spence was able to put it out of play. Casemiro almost saying to James Maddison, hey, it's the Brazilians who do that sort of thing, you know. As United have it again, back to Martinez, lifts it into the penalty area on the right, and the ball across the face of goal from Casemiro, from the tightest of angles, all the way across, beyond the far post and behind for a goal kick.
Oh, that's so unlucky. Got a good bit of play from Manchester United, forcing Spurs back. What Spurs have started to do is give unnecessary passes away, let Manchester United stay in the Spurs half, and that's when they can start to create things. Brilliant ball over the top from Martinez, and it's a straight pass. It's a difficult one, just trying to drop it into the penalty area. Good run from Casemiro, and it was so unlucky with a half volley finish from the corner of the 6-yard box across the face of the goal.
Eriksson and Højlund are going to come on for Manchester United shortly. There'll be changes 3 and 4, and it is Rashford and Ugarte who are going to be replaced. Marcus Rashford not shown enough.
It's difficult, isn't it, when you're up front and you're alone and you've got 10 men. I think everyone was too passive in the first half, and I think he isn't a player that enjoys playing up front by himself, despite his attributes that he has, and I think Højlund will certainly prefer it more.
2-0 Tottenham lead. 6:06, Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton waiting for your calls on 08 085 909 693. That's a poor pass from Romero back to Manchester United. Rashford now sets off on a run away from Johnson, gives it to Garnacho. They're both on the left-hand side here. Garnacho, his socks really are almost down by his ankles. Then back to Dalot. Martinez infield into the centre circle to De Ligt. No Harry Maguire today, out with a knock-in training. Ball to the left-hand side from De Ligt to Garnacho. Garnacho with a run to the edge of the penalty area, but that was blocked by Johnson, who then slips over, so Rashford has got it back, gives it to Garnacho. He looks in field. That's blocked by a diving Johnson. Excellent defensive work from Johnson, who scored one goal and set up the other for Kulusevski as his excellent run of form continues. Tottenham will also be in European action this week in the Europa League on Thursday night against Ferencváros. Here is Martinez, edge of the area, goes for the shot, but that was blocked inside the penalty area, bounces to Werner, and Werner might run away with this, which he is doing. He's running away from Mazraoui. He's got absolutely no support. He's almost up to the edge of the penalty area, takes on Mazraoui, beats him again. Now De Ligt comes across, Werner plays it back to the edge of the penalty area, and he manages to pass it between Maddison and Solanke, and actually sets Casemiro off on a counter-attack.
Yeah, it's not nice to say, but that's typical Timo Werner. Does absolutely brilliant, and just in that crucial moment, he just lets you down. He just picks the wrong pass or wrong opportunity, and you're right, United on the break.
Oh, Garnacho, lovely. It beats 2 men, and then the shot comes off the toe of Romero and bounces wide for another corner to Manchester United. At least United now, when they can, they are taking the game to Tottenham, and now we're going to see the 2 Manchester United changes that I mentioned. Ugarte, his first start in the Premier League for Manchester United. Off he comes with 20 minutes, just under 20 minutes to play. Christian Eriksen comes on, and Rasmus Højlund as well coming on for Rashford, who's left the pitch. Yeah, behind the goal in front of the Stretford end, walking around the pitch. So Højlund barely played this season, come on as a substitute now in these last 3 matches, yet to score his first goal of the season. Christian Eriksen now, who scored the goal against Twente on Wednesday night, but also was caught out, lost possession. And Rashford, Erik ten Hag's leading applause for Rashford here as he walks around the pitch. The corner comes in from Eriksen, doesn't beat the first man, and now Werner is running away with it again to the halfway line. Eriksen is able to get back, put the challenge in, might have fouled Werner. No, the free kick's not given. Manchester United have got it back. Spurs are going to make a triple change shortly. Garnacho takes on Porro, goes to ground. That's given us a free kick to Manchester United, who are now having their best spell of the match, but losing 2-0. And a yellow card for Pedro Porro for that.
Yeah, that's cheap. I think the referee's just, he seems to be giving all the 50-50 calls Manchester United's way at the moment, which is great for Manchester United. What Spurs aren't helping themselves with is they've given the ball away cheaply. They're allowing Manchester United to get momentum, to keep the pressure going, to keep forcing situations where Spurs are on the back foot. Maybe that's why Ange Postecoglou's going to make that triple substitution. That does look like one or two tired legs in that Spurs team.
Yeah, I can see this. Absolutely, Leon. As the rain suddenly starts here and blows into Old Trafford over the Stretford end from the west. Manchester United 0, Tottenham 2. Eriksson takes this free kick in, but again swings it into the near post. It's cleared away to the halfway line by Pedro Porro, who was in disbelief that he'd been yellow carded for that last challenge. So 5 Manchester United players yellow carded, and I think that's 3 of Tottenham. Here is Martinez. So triple change coming, Sarr coming on as United swing it into the box again, looking for Højlund, and then the ball in to the near post where Vicario is able to drop onto it after the low cross from the right hand side from Mason Mount. Tottenham try to get going again in the match. That's what Ange Postecoglou is responding to here, the fact that Manchester United with the 10 men have actually done better with 10 than they were in the first half with 11.
Yeah, you wonder, don't you, at times when you see the last 10 minutes of this game, the way they've got a bit more organisation, the way they're stepping in and winning all the duels now, Manchester United, where that was in the first hour, where that was in the first half in particular, how they couldn't get closer to this Tottenham team with 10 men when they had 11 men.
Tottenham though, here's Kulusevski and Johnson combining on the right hand side. Johnson's ball across into the path of Maddison, who shoots, and that's blocked on the edge of the 6-yard box by De Ligt. Comes back into the United penalty area. Mazraoui is able to control and play it up to Højlund, but Pedro Porro just gets a nice touch and takes the ball away from the young Dane. Now Mickey van de Ven thought about a shot there, but plays it to Maddison. Now to the edge of the box. Solanke with a shot. It's deflected, which takes it up, and it just floats away high over the top left corner of the goal and behind him. We're going to see these changes now. So Tottenham are going to take off James Maddison, Timo Werner and Brennan Johnson. So Sarr coming on into the midfield, the young Norwegian, the teenager, one of the summer arrivals, Lucas Bergvall, the Swedish international, coming on, and young Mikey Moore as well, having come on as a substitute in the last couple of games. The 17-year-old just turned 17 last month. You wouldn't know it though, watching him run under the field. He is well built, isn't he? 47 on his back.
Yeah, he is. He's got a good reputation as well. He looks like, is he going over to take the set piece of the Spurs touch? No, maybe it's Bergvall will go all the way across. But the trio that are going off will be really pleased with their afternoon's performance, certainly contributing to Spurs' dominance in that first hour of the game.
Yeah, certainly Johnson, goal and assist. I think Maddison's done well in front of the England interim manager as well, who names his squad on Thursday. Lee Carsley just sitting down to our left. There he is, yeah. You can normally spot him because he's got his glasses on top of his head, but actually he must have them in his pocket at the moment. Bergvall with the corner for Tottenham, near post glance, Sarr, and then in from Solanke, slid in almost on the dead ball line, and Dominic Solanke continues his good form now. 3 goals in 3 for him, and that seals it for Tottenham here. 3-0. They've withstood the mini Manchester United comeback, such as it was, and now they've got a scoreline to match their performance here against Surrey United. Manchester United 0, Tottenham 3, Dominic Solanke with the third.
I'll talk about an inspired substitution. You get yourselves a corner in the final third, having been under a bit of pressure. You decide to make a triple substitution. One of the introductions, Bergvall takes the set piece. Another one, Mete Sarr flicks it on and will allow Dominic Solanke with that tap in, a slide and tap in right in the middle of the 6-yard box. It's a good corner. It's a 6 yards out, aligned with the front post. Sarr just runs around everybody, comes from the blind side, just flicks it into the danger area, and like all good strikers do, they arrive for the bouncing ball. He knows he's not getting the first direct ball to him, Dominic Solanke, but he anticipates where the second ball is going to go, arrives in the middle of the 6-yard box, he's full stretch, just about touches his studs, directs it past Onana, who can do nothing about it, and that resurgent push from Manchester United suddenly seems like it's never happened.
Yep. Manchester United 0, Tottenham 3 now, and this is, in terms of the scoreline, as bad as it was against Liverpool. Liverpool winning 3-0 here. Now Tottenham are winning 3-0, and Manchester United are heading to a third Premier League defeat of the season. 3 defeats out of 6 matches played. And Erik ten Hag, the rain is pouring on his head, and it feels almost metaphorical. Kulusevski playing it back to Bentancur, who goes back towards the halfway line. Dragoshin is going to come on as well for Tottenham very shortly. Van de Ven is going to be substituted as Ange Postecoglou, I guess, thinks about the various commitments that Tottenham have got now with those Europa League matches that came in Hungary against Ferencváros on Thursday night. And I think Manchester United's hopes of perhaps managing to scramble and scrape their way out of this with something are now over with that Dominic Solanke goal. And also for him personally to score in front of the England interim manager. Harry Kane has got an injury, so we'll have to see how he is and whether he's going to be able to come to Birmingham to play Aston Villa on Wednesday night. Picked up an ankle injury late on in the match against Bayer Leverkusen yesterday. Spence playing it forward down the left hand side, but the sliding challenge comes in from Mazraoui. In the end it came off Mikey Moore, who was the Tottenham man running through, and it's a goal kick to Manchester United with 10 minutes to play. So now Mickey van der Ven making way, but he's the man who set the tone, Leon, with that amazing run that opened up the match for Tottenham and set up the opening goal for Brennan Johnson.
Yeah, I mean, wonderful play. Just the start his manager would have imagined, and yes, he's a very good defender without the ball, and defensively his pace at the back counts for an awful lot in covering his teammates, but what a drive to go forward. That's a couple of times now this season he's picked the ball up and he's thought, you're not going to come close me down, I'm going to go create something, and he ran from his own half right to the byline, beaten several Manchester United players who will look and hang their heads in shame at the effort they put in to stop him. And it certainly got the opening goal and got Spurs up and running.
As Manchester United man, is that Mason Mount, who has gone down on the halfway line, and after the problems he's had with injury, or just a bang on the head, maybe just caught as 2 players turned, so it seems to be off the ball, maybe just ran into someone and he's holding his head, so Mason Mount obviously will have to get the full inspection before we see if he's able to continue. So Manchester United 0, Tottenham 3. And just seeing it was an aerial challenge. Dragoshin, who's just come onto the field, who I think in heading the ball also headed Mason Mount.
I think it might have been his arm. I don't think it was a bad challenge. Dragoshin got up so high that with his arms at his side, I think the elbow or the forearm caught the back of the head of Mason Mount, and I think there is blood. So he certainly felt it straight away. Walked about 2 or 3 yards, Mason Mount, before he eventually sat down on the floor. Physios very quickly on the field, as you'd expect in the modern world with regards to head injuries.
Yep, so we're going to have a lengthy stoppage here with 8 minutes to play. Once we wrap things up on 5 Live, 6:06, we'll follow Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton. You know what's going to dominate the agenda tonight. Manchester United, 08085 909 693. Hashtag BBC 606, text 85058, so you can book your call now. All of the day's football news, all of the details you will find on the BBC Sport website and app on the football pages. Phil McNulty is here today. He'll be writing about this match. Highlights on Match of the Day too tonight. Just wait till you see Mickey van der Ven's run to set up the Brennan Johnson goal. And every Monday morning now, the Premier League review is part of the Football Daily, with Darren Fletcher presenting that. It is free from BBC Sounds, and that's where you will find all live BBC radio. If you're an Ipswich Town fan, you want to listen back, if you went perhaps to see the match at Portman Road today, never seen them before in the Premier League, you can actually listen back to the commentary, Ali Bruce Ball and Mark Schwarzer, via BBC Sounds. Mason Mount has been bandaged up, and actually that's it. That's the end of his afternoon. So Victor Lindelof is being hurriedly prepared, I think, to come onto the field for his first taste of the action this season. But as you said, Leon, there's blood there clearly. You think it was an arm that actually caught, the Dragoshin's arm that actually caught him on the back of the head?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I'd like to see it again, but it didn't seem like he butted the back of his head, but there was certainly severe contact. Dragosin very committed to winning his first duel on the game.
Yeah, he has Sarr down the right hand side, but he's not going to be able to keep that in. Slides all the way through on this now wet surface and behind. So Manchester United, until they get Lindelof onto the field, in actual fact it's going to be Amad Diallo who's going to come on. So Lindelof has put his green bib back on, and Amad Diallo is going to come on for the final moments of the match, and there he is, just coming onto the field now. So a goal kick to Manchester United, but looking around the place now with the rain pouring down on Old Trafford, the scoreboards, those electronic scoreboards, the thin boards on the upper tiers of the stands with the scoreline on them in black and white. Manchester United 0, Tottenham 3. It's another bad day for Manchester United, yet another bad day for Erik ten Hag after the disappointments, the poor performances, the poor results of last season. This is, well, frankly, it's no improvement. Ball to the edge of the penalty area and Tottenham clear it away. Played forward by Bergvall. This is for Mikey Moore, the bustling 17-year-old, to chase down the left. Two Manchester United men with him, and in the end Mazraoui deflects off him and out of play for a throw into Tottenham 10 yards away from the corner flag. It is now Aston Villa 1, Tottenham 1 in the 4:30 kickoff in the Women's Super League. Lots of midweek commentary for you, some big games, exciting names. Arsenal against Paris Saint-Germain on Tuesday, 8 o'clock. Aston Villa against Bayern Munich, 8 o'clock on Wednesday. And Porto, Manchester United in the Europa League. 5 Live, the place to listen to that, 8 o'clock Thursday night. Manchester United with Amad Diallo, then Christian Eriksen lifts one forward through the middle for Højlund to chase, but Pedro Porro is able to get himself in between Højlund and the ball, brings it down. It's played back by Bentancur to goalkeeper Vicario, then up to Kulusevski, who I must say has really caught the eye today, playing in the midfield role, gives it to Bergvall, and the Swede is going to have a goal from 23 yards or so, but it flies away over the top of the crossbar. We did wonder, didn't we, Leon, whether Bissouma might have started this match in midfield? But yeah, Kulusevski's been excellent.
He has. I was very fortunate to go in and speak to him, interview him last season.
Did you?
I was, yeah. And he was talking to me about how he's played a lot of time in the wide areas for Spurs, but in a few months, in a few seasons' time, he'll be that attacking midfielder. He'll play centrally, feels that position suits him more, and I can certainly see why today. What an outstanding afternoon of football he's had.
Yep. And a goal to boot, the middle one of the three, Johnson, Kulusevski and Solanke. So Brennan Johnson, 4 goals in 4 matches, Kulusevski's first of the season, Solanke 3 in 3 after failing to score in his first 4 appearances for Tottenham after a big fee, could be up to £65 million, Dominic Solanke. Tottenham club record fee as Dalot plays it forward for Garnacho, who takes it down into the fullback position. Empty red seats are appearing in the home sections all over Old Trafford. Eriksen curling it in, Højlund on the stretch, couldn't get a contact on it, and it will dribble all the way through. Even though Casemiro's trying to keep it in, he has kept it in. Casemiro plays it back to Mazraoui, Amad, then Mazraoui. Casemiro's still over there on the right hand side. Here's the cross, but it hits Spence and bounces out of play for a throw in. 3 minutes to play. Aston Villa now leading Tottenham 2-1. Rachel Daly has scored the second for Aston Villa, so Villa have turned it around there, but not so Manchester United here against Tottenham. Goals early in each half, and then that clincher from Solanke. Manchester United cross from the right from Casemiro, Dalot on the edge of the box. Now Garnacho Garnacho puts his foot on the ball, drags it back, plays it centrally. Eriksson. But everyone knows that the game is up now, and the questions will soon begin to Erik ten Hag, who will try and bring you live during 6:06 on 5 Live as Porro just heads it back to Vicario, has to stretch and keep it in on the dead ball line. And this is no beating about the bush, it's the bleeding obvious, isn't it? He is under pressure.
Absolutely, and you wonder whether he'll bring the red card into it, say we're playing with 10 men, because I can tell you, I think the sending off, yes, it kind of finished United for a long period, but Spurs were so dominant.
Garnacho into the area, shoots off Porro, punches down for corner.
Spurs were so dominant in that first half that saying United went down to 10 men takes a bit of the edge off what Spurs did to Manchester United in the first half. It takes the feel of the dominance away when you say 10-man Manchester United, because Spurs were battering Manchester United when it was 11v11.
Play's been abandoned in Bristol, so Australia have won on the DLS method as Eriksson takes this corner, which is headed away on the edge of the 6-yard box by Solanke. So Australia in the end winning by 49 runs in the deciding match, so win the series 3-2. We'll have more on that at the end of this match. Manchester United vainly putting together another attack, trying to put some pressure on, trying to get a goal back. It's a matter of pride now as much as anything else. But Amad Diallo then conceding a free kick. But for Manchester United, 3 defeats out of 6. They'll still be in the bottom half of the table after this match. And games away to Porto, away to Aston Villa. That's a 5 Live commentary next Sunday afternoon. Home to Brentford, away to Jose Mourinho's Fenerbahce in the Europa League, away to West Ham after that. These are testing times for Erik ten Hag. Played forward by Pedro Porro for Solanke, who's in, and it's saved by the right leg of Onana, and then Sarr heads wide from 6 yards. There were defenders back actually between him and the goal, but headed wide, could easily have headed in number 4.
Oh, it should be 5-0. I mean, that should have certainly been a goal. There's been more chances in the game that should have put this scoreline as even more convincing than 3-0. That certainly should have made it 4. But they've had enough chances in this game. 1v1, half volley from the halfway line, right through the centre of Manchester United's 2 defenders. Solanke just ran through and was expecting, he was looking around for contact for someone to tackle him. No one was there, and Onana, you said, would be busy in this second half, has been, made a brilliant save.
Garnacho for Manchester United. But his ball in field, Romero reads that. And Tottenham, without their captain, without the inspirational Son, you wouldn't know that one of their most important players, arguably their most important player, was missing from this today. Eric, what's the score? Oh, Gary, what's the score? There's ball played in towards the edge of the penalty area, but sliding in, Højlund puts it wide. I guess that is directed towards Gary Neville.
Yeah, I think it was De Ligt who just actually missed that ever at the front post. He won the ball, stepped forward, tried to get in the penalty area. Bodies in there has been something United haven't done all too often. Get players inside the opposition penalty area. Just couldn't direct it on target.
Manchester United 0, Tottenham 3. Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton very much waiting to take your calls. 08 085 909 693 as Kulusevski latches onto another loose ball, just glides across, plays it forward to the blonde-haired Bergvall, whose pass is deflected through the middle all the way through to Onana. And if you've just switched on, if you're able to watch the highlights tonight, you will be staggered by the number of chances that Tottenham have had in this match. When you say, a little bit like I was when I watched Chelsea against Brighton last night, hadn't really appreciated, because I was on the move to Wolves yesterday, just how many chances Chelsea had in that match. And Cole Palmer, who scored 4, probably have had 8. Tottenham have had 23 attempts on goal, 10 of them on target, compared to 11 for Manchester United, 2 of them on target. Xerxes had that chance in the first half, didn't he, that Vicario saved well, but Tottenham were so superior as Kulusevski battles for it, down towards the dead ball line. Manchester United clear it to the halfway line. I think you're right as Casemiro hits a pass forward, but the offside flag is up. I think you're right. I think Erik ten Hag will point to the red card. But I mean, by that stage, yes, it was only 1-0, but United had just been so far off it during the course of the first period that as the rain pours down on Erik ten Hag, and it's debatable anyway, isn't it, the red card. You know, I'm sure Manchester United fans will feel that it should have been a yellow, not a red, but it was a red, and he had to go.
But it kind of feels irrelevant to the scoreline. Yes, Manchester United may have been able to get momentum, and 11v11 in the second half hurt Spurs a bit more, but you don't feel so, because Spurs started the second half as they finished the first half. They came out, cut right through Manchester United. They were just clinical, and if they'd have been more clinical in the first half, it could have been 3 or 4 at half time. It could have easily been many more on the scoreline come the end of it. It's been a game that we thought could go either way, but once it got going, there was only going to be one winner.
Garnacho managed to get away from Porro, but Romero put in an excellent tackle, a real Christian Romero tackle. That one goes to ground and takes the ball, slides it out of play. Eriksen. So we've already had 4 minutes of the 6 of added time. Very soon Manchester United are going to be put out of their misery. Garnacho through to Amad Diallo. Amad finds Eriksen on the edge of the penalty area, bounces down. Tottenham are able to play it away up to Kulusevski, and it's put out of play by Diallo for a throw-in. Tottenham have equalised in the 6th minute of added time against Aston Villa in the Women's Super League, so it is now Aston Villa 2, Tottenham 2. Spurs fans in great voice to our right in their section in the corner, in between this stand and the east stand. They have thoroughly enjoyed this. It's the first win that Tottenham have had here since do you remember the 6-1? That was an extraordinary day back in 2020 when Son scored a couple of goals, Harry Kane scored a couple of goals. Here's Højlund turning, Diallo flicks it forward, and then it's spectacularly volleyed downfield by Porro, and actually Kulusevski gets here first for this one, ahead of Diallo as well, and it goes back towards Bentancur, sweeps it across field, right-footed. Now Mikey Moore comes in field, right foot shot from him, narrowly wide. Mikey Moore so close to scoring what would have been his first senior goal for Tottenham, and that would have been some goal.
Oh, it would have been special. It would have put the icing on the cake for Tottenham. He's so close, cuts inside onto that right foot, bends it in the far corner, and because Onana's at full stretch, we all just expected it to hit the back of the goal, but didn't miss by much. Brilliant pass from Bentancur. He's had a good afternoon of football. Kulusevski's been brilliant. Brennan Johnson, goal and an assist. Some wonderful performances out there today for Tottenham.
And there's the final whistle. What a sorry day for Erik ten Hag and for Manchester United in the Old Trafford rain. Another awful defeat for the Manchester United manager. They lost 3-0 here to Liverpool, and now they've been beaten 3-0 by Tottenham. But 3-0 going on 5, 6, 7. Tottenham so dominant. And okay, Manchester United with the 10 men staged something of a comeback in the second half. But for Manchester United, that's 3 defeats in the Premier League now this season. 2 defeats here at Old Trafford. They're in the bottom half of the Premier League table. Their captain's going to be suspended. They've got tough fixtures to come. It looks bleak.
It really does. What can you say about Manchester United except that, I think they're exactly where they probably are at the moment. They're in the bottom half. They're a team that aren't seemingly going in the right direction. On this performance, you've just mentioned all the fixtures moments ago that they've got coming up. You can conceivably see them losing all of them if they're playing as they are today. So they've got to find something. They've got to be harder to play through. They've got to be harder to play against. Too easy, Tottenham found it to play right through the middle of the pitch, playing the ball, whether they wanted to play short or long, going width to width. Spurs just dominated this Manchester United team in every possible way they could today, and this is here at Old Trafford. It shouldn't happen as easy as it did, and United need to find something.
Well, the referee's leaving the field now. He's got a security presence. They're booing him, but I mean, if Manchester United fans are pointing towards that. And okay, Eric Ten Hag, I'm sure, will pick that out, the red card for Bruno Fernandes. But listen, they've been outplayed today, and Eric Ten Hag is taking the Manchester United players around the pitch and applauding the half-empty stands. I mean, I don't know what that is. Is that a show of defiance?
Yeah, I think it's a thank you for those fans who have stayed with them, and there are a bunch of United fans around the stadium still singing and chanting and trying to show how passionate they are about their team, because it certainly didn't go their way today. Manchester United so far off this Tottenham team, who are away to our right celebrating in front of their fans, because they were outstanding. A game that we thought could define where the seasons are going. Tottenham turned up, played. We wondered about the decision of not bringing in an extra holding midfielder to be difficult to play against. Well, Ange Postecoglou got his team selection perfect today, bringing in that extra attacking player, allowing Maddison and Kulusevski to dominate possession in the middle of the pitch and tear this Manchester United team apart.
Yeah, just about everything went right for Tottenham today. That early goal, Johnson, 4 goals in 4 matches for him. Kulusevski set up by Johnson at the start of the second half. Dominic Solanke, 3 goals in 3 for Dominic Solanke now. And what a contrast it is as Eric Ten Hag disappears down that tunnel away into the darkness. Ange Postecoglou is down there with his Tottenham players, thanking their supporters for their support. Do you remember back in your playing days when they used to say, didn't they, that Alex Ferguson would inspire his Manchester United team to play against Tottenham here at Old Trafford by saying, lads, it's Tottenham. Well, now you could be forgiven for thinking that some teams come here and say in the away dressing room, lads, it's only Manchester United.
Well, there's certainly no fear factor, unfortunately, for Manchester United fans coming anymore. I mean, there used to be such a difficult place to come. Sometimes you were beaten before you got off the bus. Just the thought process of let's try and get through this game. Whereas this Manchester United team, yes, they can come together. They're a bunch of fantastic individual players, but as you can see, that they're not playing as a team. They're not playing as a collective unit. Spurs did today. Spurs had a clear game plan. The rotations were great. The runs in behind, the timing of everything was as a team should be. And such a contrast of two teams that we were looking at. As I said, we were looking at the balance before the game and talking about where they were in comparison. Well, Spurs showed exactly where they are.
Yeah, what a win for Tottenham. Their first away win in the Premier League this season. What a win. But what a sorry day again for Manchester United. Manchester United 0, Tottenham 3. And Steve Crossman is sitting here. Steve, what are you watching there?
Looking at Daniel Levy, looking very, very happy indeed with Tottenham Hotspur's performance today. He's just about 2 yards in front of us, speaking to David Johnson, whose son Brennan Johnson, of course, opened the scoring what seems absolutely hours ago. Tottenham Hotspur fans so loud away to our right hand side. Very good reasons and very different reasons for Spurs and Manchester United fans to be calling 08085 909 693 to speak to Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton on 606, which will be with you very, very shortly. And we will absolutely give Spurs their just deserves in a quick second. But it does feel, Leon, as good as Spurs were today, the story does feel like Manchester United, especially watching Eric Ten Hag somehow surrounded by players after full time and yet looking so alone.
Yeah, because he's talked for a while now that this team are in progress and that they're building towards something, and stick with them because it'll all come together. And yeah, he's now had, was it 2.5 years at the club? He felt like he's got his squad of players. You feel like this team is his now. He's just brought in Ugarte, who was going to be the answer to the problems in the middle of the pitch because of the lack of mobility that Manchester United seem to have in there. And his team look well off the pace. They look arguably worse than they have done over the previous couple of seasons. And barring Luke Shaw, I think he's pretty much got everyone available. And the fact that that's the kind of performance you get in what was a big game, in where the season's going for Manchester United today, for them to be so lethargic, so slow out the blocks, to be so passive at home here at Old Trafford to a very good Spurs team, but to anybody is certainly alarm bells ringing.
It is really difficult to judge this, Leon, but Eric Ten Hag has been under scrutiny and he's been under pressure probably 5 or 6 times during the 2 and a bit years that he's been Manchester United manager. Does it feel to you worse, more serious now than it's been before for him?
I think there's been serious moments before where results have been terrible, dreadful over a period, but you always felt that it's new and he hasn't quite had his time, and I understand he's a quality manager, let's give him the opportunity, whereas time's got on and the results seem to still be the same, and you're not really seeing any marked improvement. You're not really seeing, we come back to it, you don't really want to keep saying, but I still don't know what Manchester United are. I don't know if they're a possession team, I don't know if they're a counter-attack team, so I'm still not quite knowing even what Manchester United are with regards to how Erik ten Hag wants them to play. So when you put all that together and you realise the time he's had with the team, it's probably becoming more of a concern.
And I think you look at clubs and you look at recruitment, and Daniel Levy, who was just in front of us here, has disappeared now somewhere into the areas of Old Trafford, where I suspect he will be celebrating for the next hour or so. The widest grin I've ever seen on the face of Daniel Levy, Cheshire Cat-esque, and why not? But then you look at, John, at the goal that Dominic Solanke scored, a player signed for a very specific reason to do that job. Tottenham seem to have done that, and Manchester United don't.
Yeah, and he talked about being ruthless. He wanted his team to be ruthless today, and Joshua Zirkzee, he needed him to really make a strong start for Manchester United, and it's simply not.